Start your engines! It's race time!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the field, some 40 strong, the finest late model sportsman short track competitors anywhere in the country, comes alive on pit road here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Harry Gann and Jeff Bodine sit on row number 1. Gann on the inside, the Skull Bandit Pontiac at white, silver numeral, car number 77. He is flanked by Jeff Bodine, who's moved to Pleasant Garden, North Carolina. Now makes North Carolina his home. The Washington Freightliner Pontiac, and Bodine will start second. The veteran, David Pearson, the Chattanooga Chew, car number 21, the Pontiac, will start third, and Tommy Ellis is fourth. The signal being given for the field to move them off, move them down pit road, and initiate the first of a couple of warm-up laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, Jerry, what a big thrill for the fans today in this Mello Yello 300, because we've got more of the big guns than ever running in both races today and tomorrow. Today's Mello Yello 300, one of the great all-time thrills, and as always here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, we are right on time. Richard Childress, call the PR department at extension 208.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the fifth running of the Mello Yello 300 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 300 miles, 200 laps on this 1.5-mile banked asphalt oval here in Charlotte, North Carolina. A beautiful day for racing here in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the field, some 40 strong, make their way off of pit road and climb the makings down the south end of the speedway in turns 1 and 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a tandem of Ford Mustang GT 1982 version lead the field in turns 3 and 4 up in the north banking of the speedway. As they're doing the bob and weave, we see Dale Earnhardt back in that Wrangler Pontiac, bobbing and weaving, trying to heat up the tires somewhat, as the first of 2 Ford Mustangs pulls on the pit road. How about standing and waving on your favorite drivers as they come by? Ladies and gentlemen, the field passes in review. Harry Gann, Jeff Bodine, David Pearson, Tommy Ellis, Joe Ruttman, Darrell Waltrip, Phil Parsons, Morgan Shepherd, Connie Saylor, Dale Earnhardt, Glenn Jarrett, Jack Ingram, and some of the finest short track late model sportsman drivers anywhere in the world here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Leroy Davis, meet your party at the main gate. Elmo Langley, call extension 238. Glenna Graham, infield nurse, call extension 238.
Ladies and gentlemen, the field out of turn 4. We'll watch a signal from Flagman Harold Kinder and Ernie Moore trackside. The finger goes up 1 lap. Will be under green next time by. Field passing review this final time. Next time by, they'll get the green flag from Harold Kinder and will be underway in the Mello Yello 300. The 1982 Ford Mustang GT official safety car here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the pace car at the field in tow down the back straightaway. They begin to tighten it up somewhat in turn 3 as Harry Gann and Jeff Bodine lead the way. Field some 40 strong on the banking in turn 3, the north end of the speedway. This time, Bob will have green flag. They really begin to tighten it up down in turn 4. We'll watch the safety car on the banking. Safety car makes the hard left-hand turn down pit road. We'll watch for Harold Kinder to unfurl the green. Here they come, ladies and gentlemen. 40 strong at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Mello Yello 300. Harry Gann is underway. The green flag falls ahead for turn 1. Harry Gann takes the inside in turn 1. Bodine rides high, and a challenge down in turn 1 from Tommy Ellis.
And there they are, almost going 3 wide in that turn number 1, but down on the inside, it's still Harry Gant, the Taylorsville Terror, flat-footing it down that back straightaway, but staying right up tight is Bodine. Making it a 3-way battle is Ellis. Pearson's back in about the 5th spot.
One car to move in turn 3 is Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt, who started back in the field trying, and they tied it up. Oh, they squeezed it in turn 4. Earnhardt backed off the pace, got in the binders, and Gant's your leader. Out of turn 4, Harry Gann across the stripe. Tommy Ellis runs second, and Dale Waltrip is third.
Gant, Ellis, Waltrip, 1, 2, 3, they go into that banking and trouble. A whole pile of them stacked up down off of that 4th turn banking. We have a car down pit road and about 4, 5, 6 automobiles piled up down there. We'll have to wait and sort them out and get the numbers for you. Here's another car, the car number 31, up along the front stretch grandstand wall here. That's John Cleek of Kingsport, Tennessee, and the Cleek Racing Chevrolet. And stay back away from that wall, spectators. The guards are there to keep you back. That automobile is caught on fire, but John Cleek is out of the car and away from harm. But right now, the safety crew moving in there. They're also spraying down that car that's down on pit road. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, perhaps 8 other automobiles down there off the banking of turn number 4.
Okay, everyone back away from the fence, please. Just stay back away from the fence on the front straightaway. The safety crews are there immediately on the scene to see the car number 31 of Jay Hedgecock. Well, ladies and gentlemen, caution here on lap number 2 for a multi-car accident down in turn 4.
Car number 41 with Mike Watts in the is one of the cars down there in the Watts Racing Pontiac. He's in pit row right now, and we'll have the numbers of the other cars for you here in just a moment.
62, 10, 50.
Car number 62, John Linville from Kernersville. Car number 10, Mark Gibson of Daytona Beach, Florida, in the Gibson Racing Pontiac, and Tom Usry of Sanford, North Carolina, who is driving the new Fayetteville Speedway Mercury. All of those cars involved right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay back from trackside. Please stay back from trackside. Car number 57 was one of the other cars involved, Ken Reagan from Unadilla, Florida, in the Reagan Chevrolet Incorporated Pontiac. Safety crews are on the track. All the spectators, please stay back from the fence until the safety crews have determined that there is no longer any fire danger on car number 31.
Think about it, I missed the whole.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a number of cars involved that crashed out at turn 4 in the early stages of this Mello Yello 300. We're under caution on lap number 2. We're showing 3 laps in the books. And Harry Gant, your leader, the car number 77, pole sitter Harry Gant out of Taylorsville, North Carolina, showed the way in the Skull Bandit Pontiac. As Gant, presently your leader, Tommy Ellis rides second, and they're still working up in turn 4.
That's car number 62, John Linville of Kernsville, up on the hook with the automotive specialist Pontiac, and they're bringing him down and just took him behind the wall back into the garage area. Car number 62, John Linville, one of the cars involved in that accident and evidently out for the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, the list we have thus far, the cars involved up in turn 4, the car number 41 of Mike Watts out of Mohawk, Tennessee, he was involved. John Paul Linville in the car number 62, you just heard Hill Overton speak about. The car
And lots of good racing ahead when that green flag drops again here over what was a 40-car field, and that's been reduced to some 31 automobiles now very quickly. And our track cleanup crews continue to work here along the main straightaway and also off the banking of turn number 4, where you can see all of the many skid marks which bear record or reminiscence to that event which took place. I'm sure many of the fans, as well as ourselves, actually missed the development of that accident because we were watching the leaders as they were entering the banking of turn number 1 as that developed. So a lot of people probably missed out on viewing that incident over in turn 4. It would go good about now, along with some food, I'm sure, for nourishment, and visit one of our souvenir stands where you can get all sorts of mementos, meaningful mementos of this year's Mello Yello 300 and World 600 coming up here at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Several of these same stars you see out here today will be manning the wheels of the Grand National machines on Sunday, so they'll be back for double duty.
Once again, in this race, we have some second-generation drivers, and Jerry Punch may want to comment on who they are, who to look for in the race today.
Well, there are a number of second-generation drivers. Of course, Dale Earnhardt's father, Ralph Earnhardt, started just nearby here in Kannapolis, North Carolina, running the short tracks. He's in the race, of course. And Ned Jarrett's two sons, Dale and Glenn Jarrett, and they're right now showing, I believe, about 10th and 12th on the field. They're just one car separating. That'll be an interesting battle to see older and younger brother. Glenn's the older brother, and Dale's the younger brother. And, of course, Glenn's driving one of the few Fords in the field, and a good qualifying run for Glenn Jarrett. He qualified the Marvin Thaxton Budweiser Light Ford 11th at over 159 miles an hour. His younger brother, Dale Jarrett, has the brand-new Pet Dairy Racing sponsorship for his Pontiac, and Dale in the car number 32. He's the younger of the Jarrett brothers, so we'll watch that battle as the race progresses.
And, of course, Jerry, we have Larry Pearson driving today. His dad qualified the car yesterday, and that's the Chattanooga Chew Pontiac, car number 21. And they're running a little bit back in the field right now, but you'll see them come on by. Larry Pearson driving today. His dad qualified the car yesterday. Nelson Seeley, call extension 238. Nelson Seeley, extension 238. For those of you who may have been off to the concession stands, we are under caution. A 9-car wreck at the end of lap 1. We have been under caution for 12 laps here at it in the Mello Yello 300. Safety crews still checking the track.
Well, don't forget, folks, to get your custom engraved dial-a-lens sunglasses
at many of the stands located around the speedway. They're conveniently located to serve you. They have custom frames which will complement the contour of your face, also your skin tones, your hair coloring. They'll engrave your name, your initials, any logo you desire. In fact, they have some logos for the Charlotte Motor Speedway and for several of your favorite drivers. So visit one of the conveniently located stands here around the speedway and pick up your a pair of custom engraved sunglasses here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Mike Riley has just made a visit to his pit stall, and he's down and away again, entering turn number 1. He's going to have to close it up because the signal may go out. We're watching starter Harold Kinder for a signal, but did not see one that time by.
If your driver was one of the 9 involved in the wreck, you may be suffering, your favorite driver rather, you may be suffering from a headache right now, and there's only one headache powder that gives you the 2 pain relievers doctors recommend most. Goodies, that's right. Goodies is the only powder that gives you the advantages of both aspirin plus acetaminophen. It's the hardest working headache powder you can buy. And when you compare the price of Goodies with the other powders on the shelf, you'll see that Goodies cost less, a lot less. So when you're in pain, remember, you get a lot more relief for a lot less money with Goodies.
Well, then, Todd Ussery, Jay Hitchcock, the car number 57 of Ken Reagan, Darrell Sage, Benny Curley, John Cleek, and the car number 10, young Mark Gibson. The only car able to continue to go, the car number 33 out of Charlotte, North Carolina, George Dalton. Well, signal from flagman Harold Kinder, and down trackside, Ernie Moore, green next time by. We'll have green next time around. We're going to green. We're showing 15 laps of the 200, which comprise the Mello Yello 300. Oh, we have word that the car number 41 driver, Mike Watts, had some slight burns on his arms and chest. He will be treated and released. That's young Mike Watts, driver of the car number 41 out of Mohawk, Tennessee, in the Watts Racing Pontiac. Had some slight burns on the arm and chest. He will be treated and released. He was the only driver injured whatsoever in that melee that in turn 4. The rest of the drivers are A-OK, and that's fantastic news here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Safety car pulls off the track in turn 4. Harry Gadd leads them down. Tommy Ellis in hot pursuit. Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Bodine. Green flag flies from Harold Kinder. Harry Gadd, Tommy Ellis, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Bodine in 5th spot, and Gadd is off the pace in turn 1.
Looks like he has trouble. He's way down off the pace. Tommy Ellis moves into the lead. Darrell Waltrip high on the outside takes over second. Morgan Shepherd now moves inside of Waltrip, takes over second down that long back chute. So it's Tommy Ellis, Morgan Shepherd, Darrell Waltrip, 1, 2, 3. Closing up on that group is another car in the turn number 3.
Morgan Shepherd trying to work the rear deck of Tommy Ellis, but here comes Darrell Waltrip on the inside to make it a 3-way. Battle for the lead out of 4. Tommy Ellis, your leader. Morgan Shepherd rides second. Waltrip is third, and Bodine's fourth.
Single file across the stripe with Ellis, Shepherd, Waltrip. Dale Earnhardt drops down to the inside in turn 1, takes over spot number 4 as he moves inside of Bodine. And there lurking right on Bodine's back bumper is that car number 75, driven by Ruttman. They're down that long back chute now with still Ellis, and moving up closely in the draft. In turn number 3 is Morgan Shepherd.
Well, the battle in turn 3 is for third spot, and Dale Earnhardt goes down beneath Darrell Waltrip and takes third spot. Now Earnhardt sets his sights on the rear deck of Morgan Shepherd. Tommy Ellis leads the way. Shepherd glued to his rear deck, and then Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip ride third and fourth.
Lead duo pull out to about a 7-8 car separation over in the high bank of turn number 1, but it looks like that Dale Earnhardt has his foot in it as he's trying to get down. Meanwhile, Morgan Shepherd drops down and gets a fender up alongside the left rear quarter panel of Ellis down the back chute. They're flat-footing it, dual there into turn number 3.
Morgan Shepherd flexes the muscle on the car number 7, That's the Mello Yello, Levi, Garrett Pontiac, and Shepard leads the way. The reigning Mello Yello 300 champion leads here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Morgan Shepard, your leader. Tommy Ellis rides second. And look at Dale Earnhardt in the Wrangler Pontiac. He rides third.
Shepard looks like he's on those roller skates right now as he's garnered the lead and has it by a car length over Tommy Ellis, who's 3 car lengths farther ahead of Dale Earnhardt over down off of turn number 2. A real battle there for that 4th spot. Joe Ruttman moving inside of Darrell Waltrip to make it a real 3-way battle going into that turn number 3 for 4th spot.
As they come through the turn, still up front, it's still a battle with that Morgan Shepard car out front.
Morgan Shepard number 1 as they come around to complete 20 of 200 laps. Still, Ellis sustaining second. Maintaining third, it's Earnhardt, and it's 3 cars wide going to turn number 1 for 4th position. It's Waltrip and Ruttman. As we watch them back in turn 1, Ruttman went downstairs. Waltrip got slingshot back. He got drop-kicked, and here comes Phil Parsons. Back straight away, lead automobile.
Here's 7-time NASCAR champion Richard Petty. You know, when you're out there on the track getting everything you can out of a car.
Leaders work the banking of turn 4. Morgan Shepard, your leader, and Dale Earnhardt trying to work over the rear deck of Tommy Ellis. The battle for second spot between Tommy Ellis and Earnhardt. Battle back for 4th spot. Joe Ruttman and Harry Gant. Harry Gant is now caught foul in the Skull Bandit Pontiac, and he's trying to work the rear of Joe Ruttman.
Well, Jerry, whatever he had wrong with him in the Skull Bandit sure is right now because he's back in the running again.
Phil off the banking of turn 2, down the back straightaway. We'll watch for Tommy Ellis to make his move on Shepard, but Shepard awfully strong in that Levi Garrett Mello Yello Pontiac. Morgan Shepard, the reigning champion here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for this Sportsman event.
Incredibly lifelike reproduction.
You can throw the proverbial blanket over the top 5 automobiles, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over in the high banks of turns 1 and 2. Shepard moves out to 3 cars down the back chute. Ellis rides second and third spot. Closing up is that number 15 car of Dale Earnhardt. Then it's Joe Ruttman and Harry Gant in that order over in turn number 3. 5-car draft, nose to tail in turns 3 and 4. Tommy Ellis slips a little high. Harry Gant goes high. Earnhardt and Joe Ruttman follow in line. Morgan Shepard now pull it away. Make it 5. Make it 8 car lengths at the stripe. Shepard flexing the muscle of that automobile, that number 7 machine, that yellow and white, beautiful automobile, showing 6 car lengths now over Tommy Ellis, holding the low line off of turn 2. Here's Dale Earnhardt sticking a nose down inside of Ellis. Does he have the acceleration down the back stretch? No, as Ellis slams the door, maintaining that second spot in 3.
Morgan Shepard and everything going his own way out of turn 4. Shepard leads the way. Now Earnhardt sneaks a peek to the inside. He tries to go downstairs on Tommy Ellis. Earnhardt takes the Wrangler Pontiac underneath Ellis in turn 1.
Handling and daring are the key, and Earnhardt pulls out and takes over second spot, taking along behind him Joe Ruttman, and now Harry Gant moves around Ellis. So Ellis loses 3 spots real quickly over in turns 1 and 2, and look at Harry Gant trailing smoke, the Joe Ruttman machine down in turn 3. Let's see if everyone can avoid him and get out of any oil that might be put down on the speedway, but it's Joe Ruttman holding the low groove, the rest of the field slowing down, caution waving over the speedway, coming down to the line, your leader Morgan Shepard. After 25 laps of racing in second, Dale Earnhardt third, runs Harry Gant, and pulling down pit road, bellowing smoke, Joe Ruttman, who just recently moved to Charlotte from California. Tough break for that fine young gentleman, a great driver he is. I'm sure we'll hear more from him tomorrow, though, in the World 600.
Second caution flag of the afternoon here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, being shown on lap number 25 for a blown engine on the car number 75 of Joe Ruttman. And Ruttman driving the new colors for the Pet Dairy people. Pet getting involved with sponsorship in both late model Sportsman and Grand National racing, and Joe Ruttman running 4th on the field has detonated an engine down the back straightaway, and we're under the second caution flag of the afternoon.
Among the cars, all the leaders are now taking time for the pits. Morgan Shepard is pitting, Earnhardt is in, Gant is in, and there's a story on Gant's automobile. The man who was on the pole has a broken shifter in car number 77 as they're at work changing right side rubber. Let's go to the pits and Chuck Young.
We're going to get a word here from Jack Ingram to see why the Iron Man is in. We see Sammy Ard is down here on pit road. The hood is up on the Oak Stove car of Jack Ingram. We'll get a word with them in just a moment. Then we'll go over and get a word with Joe Ruttman as he just brought out the caution here on the pit road.
Bosco Lowe's automobile and the Tommy Houston car, or rather the Ellis car on pit road, as well as Sammy Ard. The hood is up on the Ingram car at 20 laps, 30 miles. Here's how they were running. Shepard was then in front, Ellis in second, Earnhardt third, Waltrip was fourth, Ruttman was fifth, battling with Waltrip. Then sixth was Gant, seventh Parsons, eighth Bodine, and running ninth was Ingram. In the 10th spot was Connie Saylor. Bobby Allison had moved to 11th, and Glenn Jarrett was in 12th, and we had 27 cars in the lead lap. But that's all changed now. Ruttman is out, and there are big problems on car number 11. He's already gone a lap down.
Darrell Waltrip is in. Connie Saylors, Jeff Bodine, Pete Silva, Glenn Jarrett, who had such a great effort of 159 miles an hour. Let's go over to the pits and Chuck Young.
Jack Ingram still sitting here. Looks like they're changing spark plugs, possibly ignition problems. Jack is on the radio and the crew is under the hood, but it is ignition problems for the Ingram Oak Stove machine. We're going to go in and try to talk with Joe Ruttman here in just a moment.
Well, I saw the crew go inside J.D. McDuffie's automobile. Dale Jarrett is sitting right behind his brother Glenn. They're both on pit row as they're administering to the cars. Here's Larry Pearson in the Chattanooga Chew car. The pace car has the field on the backstretch.
J.D. McDuffie also making a quick pit stop and getting back to it. Waltrip is taking an extended period of time with the new Matthew G. car number 47. They've been down there they're going all the way around and doing a little bit of work on the left front of the automobile. We'll try to get you an update on that. The lap leaders thus far in the race, Gant had it through the first 16 laps, 15 of those under caution. Then Tommy Ellis took a crack at first place, followed by Morgan Shepard, then Waltrip, and then Joe Thurman got a shot at it in the 28th lap. He's out there currently being shown as the leader. And the Speedy Dry crew, the dry chemical they lay down to pick up liquid on the track, is working all the way down the backstretch and up towards turns 3 and 4.
Let's go to Chuck Young in the pits.
Joe Ruttman erupted a motor. Looks like it threw the rod clean out of the block.
It appeared we had some kind of oiling deficiency. Maybe the dry sump system didn't work real good, and it lacked oil star for just a moment, and that's what causes the rods to come out.
What about the condition of turn 4 after the incident early in the race?
Doesn't seem to be any real problem. They've done a super job of cleanup, and like I told everybody, I says it should be a real good race. There's about 4 of them that looks real evenly matched, and when they all get hooked together, they should be able to see a good race.
You didn't get to run very long today, but how about the humidity and the heat? Will it affect you tomorrow in the World 600?
Well, if I had to run the distance, I'm sure it would have, and I think that some of the boys is maybe not in shape, but I think Darrell and Dale and some of the boys that's accustomed to this won't have any problem, but maybe myself and it's going to be interesting how Bodine comes through with it if he runs the whole distance too. So after the end of tomorrow, we'll tell the tale.
That's Joe Ruttman in the Pet Dairy Products automobile.
Joe Ruttman, who will start 11th tomorrow for the World 600 from Upland, California in the Pet Dairy Buick. That'll be his automobile on the inside of row number 6 when they drop the green tomorrow. We hope you'll be with us on Performance Racing Network if you're not going to be part of the throng that will gather here to celebrate the Memorial Day weekend at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll be on the air to bring you all the action of the $500,000 23rd Annual World 600. There are still a few seats on the back straightaway, but it looks to be a sellout, so you'd better be here early tomorrow morning to get them. And, of course, naturally, there's plenty of room in the infield. And, my, what a beautiful job they've done with this infield at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. They continue to pit automobiles. And let's see, at some of the back markers now, Jack Ingram's car is still on pit road, and they're still working that machine over, but it's not going to be a good day for the Iron Man, that's for sure.
Well, Waltrip's car is overheating. It's a report we're getting. David Pearson had a lengthy pit stop, and never in the past 3 to 7 years here at Charlotte, Ken, can I remember the attrition rate so heavy this early.
There is an overheating problem on Waltrip, and the number 47, he is back in again. And there's water trickling out from underneath the automobile and down across pit road. Real problems for Darrell Waltrip in car number 47.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniel.
Jerry, there is real problems down there on pit road, car number 47, Dale Waltrip, and he's got just water all over the track, and it looks like we may have a radiator problem going here.
Well, they're putting the hood down on the car number 47, the Mountain Dew Pontiac of Waltrip, and possibly an overheating problem on that car. They're signaling Waltrip he will be down and away. Or showing 28 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now showing 29 of the 200 laps, which comprise the Mello Yello 300.
Car number 8 on pit row, Mike Riley of South Daytona, Florida, and the TGR Enterprise Pontiac. And he's down pit road and going back out again as we still remain under caution, 30 laps away in the Mello Yello 300.
Well, the car number 5 of Joe Thurman being
comes Parsons in 7th, Bobby Allison 8th, Barry Gann is 9th, Hard is 10th, Ellis 11th, Bosco Low in 12th as they scoot by into turn number 1.
Down into turn number 1, the man on the charge is Dale Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd. They're running 3rd and 4th on the track as he move up on Mike Porter, moving high, wide to the outside as he runs almost up in the loose marbles. Dale Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd down the back straightaway. They're side by side, and they're battling for first place.
They're trying to get around Mike Porter. He's just in front of them, as is Joe Thurman. Here goes up high, goes the Dale Earnhardt car. Down low goes Morgan Shepherd. Mike Porter gets a little squirrely as they come underneath him.
As they come back to the line, the battle for second place. Morgan Shepherd down on the inside. Shepherd is taking second. Earnhardt goes to 3rd. Porter falls to 4th, and running in 5th is Parsons.
The old man of racing, Joe Henry Thurman, is stretching out his lead by about 5 car lengths, but giving quick chase is Morgan Shepherd and Dale Earnhardt. Mike Porter's right there, and Phil Parsons is coming on strong in 5th place.
Phil Parsons trying to get around that Mike Porter car, but up front it's Morgan Shepherd who tried to chase down Joe Thurman.
As Joe Thurman comes into turn number 4, down to the inside goes Shepherd. No place to go. Thurman holds him off. Now Shepherd goes to the outside, counterattacks, moves up alongside. They're wheel to wheel into turn 1.
Shepherd and Earnhardt are really battling at 160 miles an hour down in the number 1 corner, and it looks like Shepherd's going to try to break away. Thurman has been kicked back to 3rd. Mike Porter is 4th. Here comes Gann, and the battle is on the 2,000-foot backstretch. Back in that number 5 spot, coming up strong, is the car of Phil Parsons, but up front is still a battle between Morgan Shepherd and the Dale Earnhardt car.
Front 2 automobiles come out of turn number 4. Shepherd is 1st. Earnhardt is in 2nd. Joe Thurman is in 3rd. Mike Porter is in 4th. In 5th is Parsons. 6th comes Bobby Allison. Then Ellis as they go back to turn 1.
Down in turn 1, Morgan Shepherd heads the field with Dale Earnhardt in tow. They're trying to break away from the rest of these runners. Phil Parsons not going to have any of that as he dives down to the inside and battles Mike Porter for 4th place. Allison wants to get in tow, so does Tommy Ellis.
Tommy Ellis moving down the inside, but Mike Porter blocks him off as he moves down on the inside of the Thurman car, blocking them there side by side coming out of the 4th turn.
It is brutal running for the 3rd and 4th position. Porter slamming some sheet metal as he came through to take the 3rd position. Coming to 4th is Parsons, and the recipient of that blow is car number 5, Joe Thurman, back in 5th.
We're going to have to keep a close eye on that number 4 corner up in front of Hal Hammer. Connie Sailors almost lost it. Everybody's getting very loose up there, so with the heat and humidity, that turn could be quite slippery. The leaders are on the backstretch.
Car number 11, Jack Ingram, is now reported as 9 laps down. Ingram back in the race, but running 9 laps down. The leaders are coming by, and they're drawing to a 3.5-second advantage. Those 2 cars, run by Morgan Shepherd first, and then Earnhardt in 2nd. Battle for 3rd has Porter just in front of the 4th place runner, Phil Parsons. In 5th, here comes Bobby Allison down the inside under Thurman for 5th at the first turn.
Down in turn number 1, they're riding in here almost 3 abreast, but keep your eye on that number 3 car, Mike Porter. He's got some type of problems. His car almost pushes out to the outside of the track every time he comes in the corner. Phil Parsons wants to get by him safely as they head down the back straightaway. He takes over 3rd place.
Parsons moves down to the inside, takes over that spot, but Mike Porter, not content to be in 4th place, is trying to get it back.
Coming to the line, it will be by a tad. Car number 7, Morgan Shepherd 1st, Earnhardt 2nd. Parsons goes to 3rd. Mike Porter is in 4th. Here comes Allison into 5th. Gann is in 6th at the first turn.
As your leaders head off the 2nd corner down the back straightaway, Dale Earnhardt giving a challenge to Morgan Shepherd, but they're shuffling the deck far back in the pack. But these front runners now have almost a full straightaway advantage over the 3rd place runner, Phil Parsons.
A big advantage. It's now drawn to 4 seconds for the 2 front-running automobiles as they come down out of the corner. It is still Morgan Shepherd in 1st with Dale Earnhardt trying to get by in 2nd. So after 40 laps, 60 miles, it is Morgan Shepherd in the lead. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Showing 40 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Morgan Shepherd, your leader. Dale Earnhardt rides 2nd. The front 2, some a 2-car breakaway. Riding 3rd on the field, the car number 28 of Phil Parsons. While showing 4th is Mike Porter. Bobby Allison is 5th. Harry Gann is 6th, and Tommy Ellis rides 7th. Front 2 cars out of turn 4, down across the stripe. Morgan Shepherd, your leader, and right on his rear bumper trying to get by is Dale Earnhardt, the Wrangler Pontiac.
Ronnie Ashburner, meet your son at gate 4.
Battle back in the pack for third spot. They go two abreast down the back straightaway as Mike Porter gets a little boost from Harry Gant, and Gant and Porter on the inside. And now Tommy Ellis makes it 3 wide in turn 3 as Gant and Porter take over third and fourth spot. Bobby Allison tries to move down to the inside of Phil Parsons. Allison and Parsons will vie for fifth spot. Leaders continue to pull away as Morgan Shepherd and Dale Earnhardt, the front two cars, begin to move away from the lead draft of third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And that's Harry Gant, Mike Porter, Bobby Allison, and Phil Parsons running third on back. One car down pit road, that's Bob Park out of Long Island, New York, in the Walters Wrecking Pontiac. That's an unscheduled pit stop for Park, and leaders across the stripe.
Morgan Shepherd and Dale Earnhardt with a 5-second advantage as they try to draw away from the field, and what a field they're fighting. Harry Gant has taken over in third. He has a 20-car length advantage over car number 3, Mike Porter, who runs in fourth. And then the battle gets really tough.
Well, Gant has been, after being ministered to on pit row, has been pulling away and getting up in the field, back into the thicket of things. As we watch that lead battle, he looks like he's reeling them in one by one. So Harry Gant definitely has got that car straightened out.
Bobby Allison is running in fifth. Ellis is sixth. Thurman has dropped to seventh. Connie Saylor is eighth. Bodine is in ninth. Ard is in 10th. Then we see Glenn Jarrett running 11th. Darrell Waltrip in 12th and fighting his way up. Bosco Lowe 13th. 14th is Tommy Houston. 15th is Rogers. 16th McDuffie. 17th Pete Silva. Dale Jarrett is in 18th, and Satch Worley is in 19th, with Larry Pearson running 20th. That's with 45 laps now complete, 67.5 miles.
Well, still that car number 7. Buddy Parrott has prepared that automobile, but Dale Earnhardt's about to put a bid on him. Here he comes down to the inside as they head to the tri-oval. Shepherd goes to the outside. Earnhardt is wheel to wheel with him as they go to turn 1.
It's a wheel to wheel and side by side, hub to hub down through turn 1. They're going through the second double dog leg, riding the middle ground in turn 1. Now working into turn 2, and Dale Earnhardt is on the charge as he heads off of the second corner and by the Coca-Cola tank. The time of 35.80 on the last lap.
Dale Earnhardt out in front, but here comes Morgan Shepherd again. Shepherd going a little bit deeper into this third turn. He's trying to catch him, but Dale Earnhardt will have none of that as they come out of the fourth turn.
Coming by, Earnhardt will be your leader. The blue and yellow Wrangler colors are out in front. Earnhardt looking extremely strong. He's had some unfortunate incidents in this race. He's led this event, but he's never taken it home. And right now, he shows the Wrangler colors first. Those Levi Garrett colors running in second place as they go down into the back straightaway another time. And then it's a big interval. Back to 6 seconds before you find Harry Gant in third. Going fourth is Bobby Allison, and right behind him is Phil Parsons in fifth. And the battle is for sixth position going down the back straightaway. Mike Porter is still trying to fend off a foe.
Tommy Ellis, the reigning national champion, gets by Mike Porter's automobile. Porter won the first half of one of the Martinsville, Virginia events in that doubleheader up there between the modified as well as the late model Sportsman, and Tommy Ellis begins to break away from that draft. He has gotten by Mike Porter.
A sadly battered car number 10, Mark Gibson, coming by with the right side of his car all torn up from that 11-car shunt in the very first lap of competition. Back straightaway, going to Hal Hamrick at turn number 3. Earnhardt on the point.
Earnhardt out in front. He's running into some traffic up ahead, but Morgan Shepherd trying to reel him in as they come off of that fourth turn. Quite a battle here as they work through the traffic.
Dale Earnhardt catches right up on the back end of Larry Pearson, puts him down a lap. And that makes 19 cars now in the lead lap. 19 automobiles now running the lead lap as Larry Pearson falls down a spot to car number 15, the Wrangler car of Earnhardt. It is still second, Morgan Shepherd, and in third, all by his lonesome. About 6 seconds between second and third, and about 2.5 seconds back to fourth. There lies the Skull Bandit, Harry Gant. He's in the back straightaway, down into turn number 3, and midway down the back stretch is Bobby Allison in fourth, with Phil Parsons tagging along on his rear bumper in fifth.
Sixth is Tommy Ellis. Seventh is Mike Porter. Eighth is Tommy Houston. Ninth would be Darrell Waltrip. All the drivers going quite high out of that number 4 corner as they head to the trioval.
Fast car on the track right now appears to be Waltrip. Whatever his problem was early, he hasn't rectified. He's closing on Joe Thurman. Here's Waltrip making a challenge going into turn number 1. Waltrip trying to take back the 9th position.
Waltrip still battling up there for the number 9 spot, and Thurman is going to find himself with one of the tough gladiators on right alongside of him. Down to the inside on turn number 2. They're on the 2,000-foot backstretch.
Tommy Houston hitting.
Waltrip going down to the inside. He's side by side with Thurman. He gets a move, and he moves out in front of Joe Thurman. He's working at the lower side of the track, and Thurman working a little higher, especially in that first and second turn.
Waltrip having a dickens of a time, and now here we see Phil Parsons getting through. Parsons is moving back into 4th position as he passes Bobby Allison going into turn 1. The last lap at 35 and 54 1/100ths of a second. Those leaders are humming out there, about 158 mile an hour average.
51 laps are gone, and on the point is Earnhardt. Riding second is that car number 7 of Morgan Shepherd, and third is Harry Gant. Fourth is Parsons. Fifth is the car number 25, and it is really shaping up to be a good race, even though we've had the attrition rate so heavy.
At 50 laps, half of the laps, just about half, 23 have been run under caution. And that's a big, heavy mark as far as speed is concerned today, but they've turned the wick back up another time. Now Waltrip has pulled away into the 9th position from Joe Thurman, who he has dropped back to 10th. They're working in turn number 1, and Waltrip has a lot of running to do. He is half a lap down on this 1.5-mile track to car number 15. Here comes Dale Earnhardt, your leader, and struggling right with him, trying to win this event for the 3rd time, Morgan Shepherd.
Here's 7-time NASCAR.
Leaders in turn 3, Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd, 1 and 2, running up on some slower traffic. They got a 2-car draft in front of them. That's Pete Silva and Dale Jarrett running across the stripe. It's in front of Earnhardt and Shepherd as the Wrangler Pontiac of Dale Earnhardt leads the way. Morgan Shepherd, the defending Mello Yello 300 champion, rides second, and about a 6-second separation back to the 3rd place car of Harry Gant. Gant rides 3rd, Phil Parsons is 4th, and Bobby Allison is 5th here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. One car having trouble up in turns 3 and 4 on the inside track apron. That's Tommy Houston. The car number 6, the car had been in earlier for an unscheduled pit stop, the Mason Day Paving Old Milwaukee Pontiac. A tight battle across the stripe as Bobby Allison retakes 4th spot away from Phil Parsons. Parsons caught back at some slower traffic down in turns 1 and 2, and Bobby Allison beginning to move away from Phil Parsons, who now rides 5th on the field. Harry Gant running all alone up in turns 1 and 2, trying to wheel in the lead draft of Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd. Gant trying to catch Shepherd and Earnhardt. It's hard to do by yourself without the aid of the draft, as the leaders are in turns 3 and 4.
Darrell Waltrip has just picked up another competitor out here as he motored down through. He has now picked up the 8th position. He moved back Mike Porter, so he is into 8th. Another retiree is standing by with Chuck Young.
Tommy Houston's here in the garage area, and well, you look like you dropped a valve or something.
Yeah, I think he's dropped the valve in the thing. You know, it was heating up a little bit. This is a short track car that we're running down here, and we didn't have a quite big enough radiator on. We knew it was going to be a chance it was going to take to start with, but it started out running pretty cool, but when I run a little bit harder, it got on up a little bit more, you know. I just tried to keep up, but the thing was, it just heat up too much, and you'd have to drop back, and evidently the heat just took its toll on it.
What about the condition of the racetrack?
The racetrack is in real good condition right now, or it was for me, you know. It was pretty tight in both corners, and it looked to me like all the front-running cars, you know, there's about 6 or 7 super running cars there. It looks like they're just as solid as a rock. They're not moving around, so I think everybody's going to see a good race.
That's Tommy Houston here from the garage area, back to the tower.
After 59 laps, we were in error a moment ago. I think we said 35. That's incorrect. It is now at 59 laps complete, working on the 60th lap, bringing us to 90 miles. The average speed is still 96 miles an hour, and here is Morgan Shepherd taking an inside shot, going to turn number 1 at Earnhardt.
Earnhardt goes to the outside. Shepherd tried to go to the inside. They changed their mind, and Shepherd backs off. And look at Earnhardt. He picks up an extra burst of power down the backstretch, pulls Shepherd by 3 car lengths. They were only inches apart when they come by. A lot of traffic out of turn number 4. They're up in turn 3 now by Hal Hamrick.
And it's a couple of cars in between them, but we've noticed that Morgan Shepherd seems to take a little higher groove than does Dale Earnhardt. But the car that's on the move out here is this car number 77 of Harry Gant. He's been picking up at least a tenth, maybe 2/10 of a second every lap.
Gant remains in third, and he's now close to within 4 seconds. It was better than 5 between himself and the leaders. Running fourth, Allison and Parsons, and they keep flip-flopping back and forth. Then in the 6th position is Ellis. 7th has been Porter, but moving up is Waltrip. Waltrip has taken him down, as well as Joe Thurman. That brings us back to the 10th position, where rests Sammy Ard's car. And in the 11th position now is Jeff Bodine. 12th is Connie Saylor. The 13th is Glenn Jarrett. 14th, Rogers. 15th, Houston. 16th, Bosco Lowe. 17th, Pete Silva. 18th, Dale Jarrett. 19th, Larry Pearson, 1 lap down. 20th, Satch Worley, a lap down. And 21st is J.D. McDuffie. Running very slowly. Bottom of the track is Mark Gibson going down through turns 1 and 2 and into the back straightaway.
62 laps are gone on the Mello Yello 300, and Morgan Shepherd, he may have been on roller skates when it rained here on Wednesday, but right now he's on 4 wheels, and he's in hot pursuit of Dale Earnhardt, trying to get down on the bottom of the racetrack. Earnhardt finds Shepherd inches from his bumper across the stripe.
As they come to the line, they are lapping car number 29. Satch Worley on the inside goes down a 2nd lap to those leaders. So, with 63 laps, it's now Dale Earnhardt in the lead. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Well, Dan Lucas, 63 laps are being shown here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The 200 laps which comprise the Mello Yello 300, and a good run thus far for the Wrangler Pontiac of Dale Earnhardt.
Coming out of the 4th turn right now down the tri-oval, here comes Earnhardt, and boy, right behind him is Morgan Shepherd, and away they go across the start line, and closing in, here comes Harry Gant in the Skoal Bandit, and he seems to be creeping up slowly but surely. He was about 7 seconds behind, and it appears now that he's got about a 4-second trail time on our 2 leaders as they head around, and they're going down that 2,000-foot back stretch here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, tough luck for Harry Gant early on. He had shifter problems on the 2nd restart after the 2nd caution flag of the afternoon. He dropped off the pace, had an unscheduled pit stop, did not lose a lap. Gant now back to speed, trying to reel in the lead draft. Gant rides third, and the leaders across the stripe, Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd. One car down pit road, the car number 29 of Satch Worley out of Rocky Mount, Virginia. That's the Longwood Restaurant Dodge. That would be an unscheduled pit stop for Satch Worley as they add fuel to that car. And we'll watch Harry again as he continues to click off the seconds, trying to reel in the leaders, Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd.
Jerry, we've got a real race going for 4th and 5th place. We've got Bobby Allison and Phil Parsons, and they've been drafting here just ever since we got out of the caution flag, just running very close.
Well, here's the battle for 4th spot across the stripe. Phil Parsons on the inside. Allison rides high. They go door to door in turn 1. Phil Parsons takes the Pontiac downstairs, but Allison has the quick way up high in the banking. Parsons still stands on it out of turn 2. They're off the south banking of the speedway. Phil Parsons on the inside. Bobby Allison up high. Parsons flexes the muscle in the Skull Bandit Pontiac, and now Tommy Ellis will give Parsons the boost over in turn 3 as they draft by Allison.
Here comes Tommy Ellis. It's 3 cars abreast as they come out of the fourth turn. As they come back to the line, it will be Phil Parsons in one of the Skull Bandit cars going up into the 4th position, and Tommy Ellis is running in a dead heat for 5th as they cross the stripe with Bobby Allison.
Well, Parsons getting a little breathing room, but Tommy Ellis goes up front of Bobby Allison. Allison finds himself drop-kicked all the way back to the 6th or 7th spot.
Sunday, July 4th, Fowler Production.
Joe Thurman, who was running real well in car number 5, is in right now, Jerry, from Rocky Mount, Virginia, in the Poff Racing Pontiac, an unscheduled pit stop for him. As we continue here this afternoon, looking down the backstretch, there go our leaders, and there's a bit more separation. Dale Waltrip seems to be putting the speed on as he goes into turn number 3, and trailing behind one of the slow cars is Morgan Shepherd, coming into the tri-oval and down across the start-finish line, with a little bit more space separating our 2 leaders up there. In the Wrangler car, Dale Earnhardt, and in car number 7, of course, Morgan Shepherd.
Well, the battle is in turn 3 for 4th spot. 4th, 5th, and 6th as Phil Parsons, Tommy Ellis, and Bobby Allison. Those 3 cars go at it in turn 4. Phil Parsons rides 4th on the field, and Tommy Ellis trying to work over the rear deck of Parsons in the Skull Bandit Pontiac. Bobby Allison rides 5th. He's watching that battle up front for 4th and 5th, as Allison rides 6th rather on the field in turn 1.
Gary Hansman, call extension 238.
Darrell Waltrip finds himself here in the Mello Yello 300 running in 7th position, and he is running 7 seconds behind the 6th place car. And the 6th place car keeps varying out there. There's a 3-car battle for 4th position. At the present time, it belongs to Allison with the Parsons car next in line, and here's the battle coming back to the line, and it's Parsons on the outside this time as they continue to swap them around. Tommy Ellis gets a crack up in there for a moment. At that 4th position, he draws with him Bobby Allison. They go down on a turn number 2 with Allison going up into 5th, dropping Phil Parsons to 6th, and then just coming to turn 2 as those 3 cars battling for 4th take turn 3 is the Darrell Waltrip car. Meanwhile, the leader, the Wrangler car with Dale Earnhardt, stays in front. The number 9 car still holds on to that 7 car, Morgan Shepherd. The Mello Yello Levi Garrett Pontiac stays right there with him. They are trying to draft away from the field, secure themselves as much running room as possible over the rest of the field and decide it between 2 rather than 5 or 6. Meanwhile, the dicing continues back here for that 4th position. The man running alone, and could be the spoiler in the whole event, is Harry Gant in car number 77, the Skull Bandit that was on the pole.
Harry Gant is continually reeling in Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd, closing on him. We'll get a separation between 2nd and 3rd for you, separating Gant from that of Morgan Shepherd. They're on the 2,000-foot back straightaway, and Gant continues to close on Shepherd. Hal Hamrick.
He's less than 2 seconds and closing fast, and he's been the fastest car out on this racetrack for quite some time. He's coming off the 4th turn just as they go into the tri-oval here.
2 magnificent battles on this track, one for the lead, the other for 4th position, and the lead battle, which has been a duo for a while, looks like it's going to turn to a trio next time around. But the battle back here in that 4th position is just as exciting as Tommy Ellis, Bobby Allison, and Phil Parsons are putting on a tremendous skirmish.
What a run for Phil Parsons. This, of course, being the teammate to Harry Gant. Parsons in Bandit 2. They scoop back into turn number 1. Ellis is on the point of that battle. Allison is 2nd. Parsons is in the 3rd place. That is not the way they're running, of course. It would be Allison in 5th, and riding 6th would be Parsons.
73 laps, 109 miles down, and just lapping that Jarrett Ford, the only Ford in the field, comes Harry Gant as he closes. Lap traffic in front of the 2 leaders coming out of turn number 2. Earnhardt slings down the outside, lapping a car and taking with him Morgan Shepherd, the 2-time winner of the Mello Yello 300, headed for 3.
And they go into that 3rd turn. Once again, Morgan Shepherd taking down on the inside, but the man is really reeling him in. Harry Gant keeps coming closer and closer. In a moment, they're going to see that car, and they're going to have to move and use that draft.
Here they are back to the stripe. It's Earnhardt, Shepard, and look at Gant. He is almost about a 10-car length separation between Gant and the second-place driver, Shepard.
He went by lap car Junior Garrett like he was shot out of a cannon, and now he continues to close at turn number 2. No question that the man with the horsepower right now, this is the car that ran so well up at Dover, Delaware there in the Budweiser Series and then broke a brake line. The car, as Bill Cannell mentioned earlier, is 7 years old. Last time it won was back in 1980 on a short track. This number 77 has been converted. It ran second to Darrell Waltrip on this racetrack 2 years ago in one of the Sportsman preliminaries here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And right now, it sure looks like that set of horses really had their oats this morning. They are closing on the leaders. The car 77 team, the Skull Bandit folks, moving down the back straightaway now to within 12 car lengths of the leader.
They're in turn number 3. It's Earnhardt, Shepard, and Gant, and I'm going to see 50,000 people in a few moments below us, Ken, come to their feet as Gant is about to challenge those front 2 leaders.
Coming by, Morgan Shepard has the word there's somebody out there shadowing him. He comes back to the line. Harry Gant now must have that attitude of Joe Lewis as far as that leader Earnhardt is concerned. He can run, but he can't hide. And Harry Gant has him in his sights. Coming out of turn number 2. He looks down, draws a bead, and the muzzle loader on 77 gets ready to rumble. We're going to have a skirmish among 3 for first place. After 77 laps, however, it's still Dale Earnhardt in the lead. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Lead twosome across the stripe as Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepard lead the way, but the story is back in third spot, some 10 car lengths back, as Harry Gant continues to close up in turn 1. Gant has the Skull Bandit Pontiac to full song in turn 2, continues to reel in the front twosome. Now sets his sights on the rear deck of Morgan Shepard as Shepard tries to move to the inside. He will make it 3 wide in turn 3. Shepard back on the throttle, backs off, slower traffic down on the inside, and Earnhardt still the leader. Earnhardt leads the way, Morgan Shepard rides second, and now Gant is close to the rear deck of Morgan Shepard. Harry Gant moves to the high side of the racetrack. He will try Shepard in turn 1. Harry Gant takes second spot from Morgan Shepard in turn 1, and now watch for Gant. He will make his move on Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt trying to push the Wrangler Pontiac at the head of the field, but being pushed behind is Harry Gant. Car number 77. At gold numeral, the white car of Harry Gant, the Skull Bandit Pontiac, runs second in turns 3 and 4. The Wrangler Pontiac of Dale Earnhardt leads the way. Gant rides second. Morgan Shepard is third. 2 car lengths separate the front 3 cars.
Looking for the Wrangler colors, the blue and yellow number 15. Going into turn number 1, Earnhardt has the advantage. It is less than 2 car lengths. Now less than 1 car length. They come out of turn number 2. Gant is on the charge. He's the challenger, attacking for first place. Earnhardt trying to fend him off as they go to 3.
And Earnhardt trying to fend him off using the other cars, the slower cars. As he comes, he dives low because he knows that's where Harry Gant's been running. He's holding him off for the time being, but Harry Gant's on that back bumper as they come out of 4.
A state police estimate of 62,000 people on their feet as J.D. McDuffie is lapped. Earnhardt still sequestered in first. Here comes Gant. He tries to drop to the inside, can't make the move as McDuffie was down on the bottom. Meanwhile, Morgan Shepard drops 10 car lengths back in third. Battle in the back straightaway. It's pulling up on the outside. Gant in the green and white colors of the Skull team drops to the inside at turn 3.
He's down on the inside. He's got a car alongside the door. He's side by side now with the Earnhardt car. He fronts him in the middle of the third and fourth turn. Here comes Earnhardt battling back strong, trying to get down the inside, but it's Harry Gant up front.
Ah, yes. Watch old Bandit run. 77 Gant, and here comes Earnhardt. Looking on the rear bumper. Tight 2-car draft at turn number 1.
They were touching as they went into turn number 1. Earnhardt looked like he was pushing Gant. He tries to duck to the inside. He's not going to breathe the car. Gant has really got his hands full. He's come from way back, took over the number 1 spot in the Mello Yello 300. Earnhardt stays right there. Shepard is third.
Shepard is
Richard Petty, let me tell you about a product I've been using ever since I got back.
Jerry, that's a real race for first and second place. Harry Gant just went right out in front of Dale Earnhardt in the Wrangler machine, and of course Dale Earnhardt wanted him to know he still had a little power left, and so he gets up and he starts pushing him down the track for just a ways, and now he's just been drafting him for the last couple of runs.
Well, definitely Harry Gant, the quickest thing on the racetrack right now, and that's Skull Bandit Pontiac. Earnhardt had tucked the nose of the Wrangler Pontiac beneath the rear of Gant. Now Gant's opened up a 3-car length separation over in turn 3.
And coming up in third position right now is Morgan Shepherd, who is about 2 car lengths right behind Dale Earnhardt. Attention, please. Eddie Adams, call extension 231. Nelson Seeley, call extension 238.
One car down pit road for an unscheduled pit stop. That'd be the car number 80 of Alan Powell out of Hudson, North Carolina, the professional equipment Pontiac on pit road for service. And here's the car number 70, veteran Grand National driver J.D. McDuffie on pit road. They're underneath the hood on the Bailey Racing Pontiac of McDuffie.
And our leaders come out of turn 4 down the tri-oval in front. Harry Gant. And right behind him, bumper to bumper, in the Wrangler machine, Dale Earnhardt. And 2 car lengths back, the Levi Garrett Mello Yellow machine with Morgan Shepherd.
Ago and took it away from him, and it is now Gant in first, Earnhardt second, Shepherd third. Parsons has fallen to fourth as Tommy Ellis has moved up. Phil Parsons is now in fifth, Allison sixth, Waltrip holding on in seventh. Sammy Ard is in eighth, Mike Porter is in ninth. It is Dave Rogers in 10th, Glenn Jarrett 11th, Connie Saylor 12th, Jeff Bodine 13th, Bosco Lowe 14th, Dale Jarrett 15th, Pete Silva 16th, Joe Thurman 17th, Larry Pearson 18th, J.D. McDuffie 19th, Harry Lee Hill is 20th, 21st is the 07 car of Junior Garrett, 22nd is Bobby Park, Riley runs 23rd, Ingram running 12 laps down is in 24th, Jack Ingram. Then Linville is 25th, 26th is Silver, and 27th is Dalton. Now we have at the present time 10 cars in the lead lap, and we have a total of 6 cars running 1 lap back. Let's go to Slick Johnson for just a moment, who's traveling through the lounges, meeting some of the folks here today.
All right, Ken, this is Slick, and I'm with Mr. Tom Chambers, president of Goody's Headache Parts. Tom, what do you think about all this?
It's hard to believe, Slick. I thought we weren't going to get it started, but now, boy, they're really settling down and racing great, bumper to bumper, and you just have to see it to believe it.
Well, we had 2 Goody's pole days, so got that out of the way. Now it looks like the weather's up on it. We sure appreciate you and your staff's help with us, and hope you enjoy the race today.
Well, thank you. We're glad to be here, and the pole day was one great promotion for us, the richest pole in the history of motor speeding, and of course we look forward tomorrow to the World 600, and just hope everyone can be here and be a part of it.
Okay. All right, Tom, thank you. Back to you, Ken.
88 laps now complete. 88 have been completed. That shows 131 miles down in this race. A very slow speed, but some very dramatic action. Meanwhile, the story is on the point. Harry Gant has fought his way through. He was running some 5.5 seconds to the leaders. He's made it up. He ran by... Either on pit road under a caution flag. It'll be one of those 12-second stops under green if you hope to keep it together. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead tightens up as Harry Gant continues to try and stay in front. The second-place automobile, number 15, Dale Earnhardt, looks like he has a little bit of bite left, and he's going looking for the leader. After 91 laps, it is now Harry Gant in the lead. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Your attention, please. Mark Carter meet Ronnie Martin at the start-finish line. This is a late announcement. If you've not already done so, Mark Carter meet Ronnie Martin at the start-finish line.
Well, here Harry Gant shows the way here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He just laps by the pet dairy car of Dale Jarrett. Gant leading the way up in turn 1. Running second, of course, Dale Earnhardt. Third, Morgan Shepherd. Showing in 4th spot. And a good battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th between Bobby Allison, Tommy Ellis, and Phil Parsons.
Well, we have a very fine race going on here, Jerry Putch, and going into that turn number 3 right now as your leader. He'd actually dropped back about 3rd spot, some 20, 30 laps ago, and it looked like that he was content to stay there, but now he's moved right on out and around the gentleman who was leading earlier, Dale Earnhardt. And of course, here's your leader across the stripe, with Earnhardt riding second in that yellow and blue number 15, a beautiful machine, and Morgan Shepherd in the 3rd spot in there in turn 1.
Won't be too long here. We'll be coming up on some green flag pit stops. One car already down pit road, that of Bosco Lowe, the car number 27 in for its pit stop. Bosco Lowe out of Fairview, North Carolina, in the Riders Floor Store Pontiac. as we're showing 93 laps in the books here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
With Darrell Waltrip 1 lap down, Jerry, we might add. Pulling down and away from pit road, the car number 17 back into action after pitting. That's Ronnie Silver of Asheville, driving Phil's Pharmacy Pontiac. He qualified at 148.486 today, and still in the running in the Mello Yello 300. And of course, we're all waiting for the climax of this week's racing activities here in the 20 days of May. And that, of course, will be the World 600 tomorrow at 12:30. Many of these same drivers performing double duty. Your leader, Harry Gant, will be there, along with Dale Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd. In fact, your top 3 drivers running tomorrow.
Miles. We're within 5 laps of halfway here in the Mello Yello 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And having a dandy time out here today, Bill Cannell, are a trio of drivers who have been dicing back here for the 4th position for the past 30 miles. That will come to a conclusion when they pull on pit road. A black consultation flag has just been offered, I believe, to Harry Hill. Black flag out, I think, for the Lexington, North Carolinian. That battle for the 4th position now has Bobby Allison taking a crack at 4th spot for a while. Ellis falls to 5th and Parsons to 6th, but about every lap somebody else gets a chance at 4th place money.
Shuffling, dicing backwards and forth, and that's what they enjoy. They're racing, and they call it the wars out there on this 1.5 miles for the Bucks today, and they're doing double duty tomorrow. They'll be back with 600 miles and $500,000, and that's about 900 miles of racing. But if the man can do it both days, let's look at Gant and Earnhardt. We were speaking while we were away, Ken, about Bosco Lowe being the first of the leaders to pit under green, so this could be to his advantage later this afternoon. Now the Ford, the only Ford in the field, number 24, Glenn Jarrett of Hickory, North Carolina, the Budweiser light car, it's pulled in as well. And we see Mike Porter's number 3 taking advantage of the 97th lap for additional fuel and right side rubber. McDuffie is in, and the hood is up on his car. The average speed at 90 laps, 115.549 miles per hour. So this race is no great shakes as far as a record is concerned, but it's a dandy with this great effort being put out by Harry Gant as he overran the leaders, just came up on them. And the black flag, indeed, is being put out again for car number 7. One more lap, and they'll take him off the board. One more lap, and if he isn't in, they'll just forget to score him for a while, and that certainly will settle his kettle of fish. It's the top 10 are all, or the top 7 are all in the same lap at the present time. Waltrip is in 7th. Then we have that battle for 4th place that involves 3 players and 3 cars running up in front pretty much by themselves. After a shaky start, an 11-car crash in turn number 4, and then a blown engine by Joe Ruttman, we have gone caution-free. 2 cautions in the early going, one a very lengthy one. And now we're seeing some more cars. Here's that car that had been told to come in, the Joe Lee Hill, number 97, and 07 Junior Garrett. He's coming in for his pit stop. Leaders? Well, let's see if we can get an idea from Chuck Young as to when those leaders might be coming in. Chuck?
Well, we are watching the crew of Harry Gant as well as Darrell Waltrip of several other crews. They've got their tires rolled up toward the wall now and are ready to put them on. But they're going to stick it out as far as they can go. We see Earnhardt's getting ready to pit. It's going to be right side tires only because we're under green. And here's Earnhardt's crew putting the tires up on the wall. Probably here in the next lap or so, we'll see him come in.
Earnhardt is pitting. He is driving down pit road at the present time. Back to the pits and Chuck Young.
Here in the Wrangler pit, here they go. Earnhardt is here. They go across the wall. 2 Goodyear Eagle rubber, as well as the Union 76 racing fuel going in. Water being poured down Earnhardt's uniforms. I look in on him. He is pouring the water all down in his uniform. It's pretty warm down there, and they're handing him some more rags and water because it's really hot and really hot out there today.
100 laps, halfway in the event. We have gone half the distance, and now Allison runs by himself for a moment. Here's Tommy Ellis down pit road. Behind him is Connie Sailors. The hood is up on J.D. McDuffie's automobile. Now, Ellis has been in that scramble for 4th all afternoon. Getting a chance to move up a little here is the Waltrip automobile. Waltrip getting a chance to climb up a little, and clambering around Pete Silva is Mike Porter. They're running well back in the field. Silva is running in the 16th position. Porter is running in the 12th, and Porter is trying to put a lap on Silva. So the pits begin to hum with activity. Tommy Ellis of Richmond, Virginia, the industrial boiler Pontiac, has come in for a moment. He's back on the track as they work the 103rd lap. Gant is still staying out there, and Chuck Young is assuming a position where the leader will be pitting. We'll be going back to him momentarily. Here is Jeff Bodine coming in. The 13th runner on the field is now on pit road. His red and yellow colors for number 99, the Washington Freightliner Pontiac, is on pit road. And we watch car number 32, also taking a brief respite from the activity, the Pet Dairy car. 15th in the national standings currently, Dale Jarrett, the brother of Glenn Jarrett, both brothers out here racing today, and their dad looking on.
Sam Ard is in the Thomas Brothers Country Ham entry. Looks like Ard is going to take on fresh right side rubber as they top the takeoff with Union Racing Fuel. And here's Walter back across the stripe. We're watching Ellis back on the speedway just through the tri-oval. Still a lot of looseness up in that third and fourth corner. Harry Gant is your leader after 103 laps. Morgan Shepherd is second. Now Bobby Allison is up in third, and 1 lap down being shown on the board in fourth would be Phil Parsons.
Dale Jarrett having trouble on pit road. The car failing to fire. It's creeping, crawling down the road. Sammy Ard has been in and out in the 00 car, and we have 77 Gant coming in, working off a pit board. No radio, they say, in this car. Let's go to the pits.
Well, one thing, Dale Jarrett's lost the transmission. He can't get into gear. The engine's running, but he has no transmission. The left side is going up now on the Skull Bandit. Harry Gant is taking on water, pouring it all over him. It really looks hot, and they're putting on left side tires as well as a full tank of fuel. We'll wait and see just a moment. They're just going to take 2. Only left side tires is what they said. Now they're going to drop him, and Harry Gant will head back out into the wars, back to the tower.
Well, here's a naughty. Pete Silva, originally out of Oxford, Maine, now out of Fletcher, North Carolina, started down pit road thinking he was doing so well, only to be told to stop because he was carrying his gas tank still firmly attached to the back of the car. He's resting down there, and the safety crews have removed the gas tank now, but he went down pit road, dragging his tail behind him. So that'll cost him dearly out here in this pit stop under green. It'll set him back another lap, and we have a wholesale change of front positions on the racetrack.
Well, down the back straightaway, Morgan Shepherd, Dale Earnhardt got by Harry Gant. Now, all 3 of these drivers have been into the pits. Here comes Shepherd at the point, Earnhardt behind him, and then comes Gant in third.
Bobby Allison now pitting number 25. Remember, he's been in that 4th place tussle all afternoon. Late coming in. And Waltrip just running around for the old Dew crew. Stays right in there. The Mountain Dew Racing team, they brought out a new car for today's race. Let me give you the 1/2 way mark on this race. Here's the record at 1/2 the distance, 100 laps. It was 118 mile per hour average, with Gant then leading, Shepherd second, Earnhardt third, Bobby Allison fourth, Parsons fifth, Ellis sixth, Waltrip seventh, Ard eighth, Rogers ninth, Bodine 10th, Connie Saylor 11th, Glenn Jarrett 12th, Porter 13th, Dale Jarrett 14th, Pete Silva 15th, Thurman in 16th, Boscolo in 17th, Larry Pearson 18th, and 19th was J.D. McDuffie. That was at the halfway distance of the race, with 5 cars then being shown in the lead lap. Now that'll change a bit, because at that halfway point, some of the leaders were coming in and pitting and going a lap down, and since then, we are now at lap 107. All those leaders have been on pit road.
And as the leaders come blazing off the number 4 corner in a mad scramble, it's Shepherd, Earnhardt. Gant ducks to the inside of Earnhardt in the tri-oval, and it looks like wheel-to-wheel dead heat across the stripe. Gant goes up into second, drop kicks Earnhardt back into third. Shepherd is on the point in the lead, but we've got a 3-car battle out of turn number 2, and very shortly they're going to be in the midway point of that back straightaway, and Hal Hemrick looks like there's going to be some real action up front.
Harry Gant trying very desperately to catch up with Morgan Shepherd. Morgan Shepherd still leading it, but Harry wheeling in them now. Here comes Dale Earnhardt. He's also trying to get in that battle, a 3-way battle, as they come out of the 4th turn. Still out front, Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan Shepherd, then Harry Gant, followed by Dale Earnhardt. We'll resume this action in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, this word, your attention for Mr. J.C. Courtney, please call home, and Glenna Graham, the infield nurse, call extension 238. Glenna Graham, call 238.
And here lows it, Harry Gant takes the lead out of turn 2. Gant slips by the inside of Morgan Shepherd and puts the Skull Bandit Pontiac on the point here in the Mello Yello 300. We're showing 109 laps in the books of the 200, which comprise the Mello Yello 300. Harry Gant is your leader. Morgan Shepherd rides second, and then 4 car lengths back to Dale Earnhardt in third.
Terrific trio there, those top 3 automobiles pulling it down this double dog leg front straightaway. High, wide, and handsome goes Harry Gant in turn number 2 now. He's going to have to go around slower traffic as he stomps that accelerator and down that quarter-mile long backstretch here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, owning a 6-car length advantage over Morgan Shepherd, who's about 10 cars ahead of that Dale Earnhardt machine as they ride 3.
One car on pit road, that's the car of Larry Pearson, the Chattanooga Chew Pontiac. As they make some adjustments on the handling, they jack a little wedge in the rear of that car, and Larry Pearson is now down on the way. No tire change on the Pearson car as they added fuel and he's down back on the speedway.
Traffic jam in turn number 1, right up to the wall in the deep part of turn 2 now. Harry Gant, the Taylorsville Terra, showing acceleration, pulling away now to a 10-car length advantage over Morgan Shepherd. Down that back chute he goes. Shepherd now owning about 10, 12 car lengths over the blue and yellow number 15, driven by Dale Earnhardt of Dooley, North Carolina, and getting a little high that time. Morgan Shepherd loses some ground to Earnhardt.
So we're showing Harry Gant, your leader. Morgan Shepherd rides second, and Dale Earnhardt is third. A battle for 4th spot between Tommy Ellis and Darrell Waltrip as they come across the stripe. Ellis in the car number 12. He's being pushed for 4th and 5th by Darrell Waltrip in the 47. The Mountain Dew Pontiac of Waltrip is 5th.
1,000. What a crowd for this event. And tomorrow, probably between 135 to 150,000 race fans have gathered here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, around this $1 million racing facility for the longest stock car race in the world. A 600-mile shootout for $500,000. Here's Gant across the stripe, and about 7, 8 car lengths behind would be Morgan Shepherd. Well, 1 year ago, there were 10 drivers who shared the lead in this event. And the 2 previous events before that, in the 300-mile distance, as we watched Darrell Waltrip now pitting, there were 8 drivers up in first place. So we're 3 away from a record to equal the record. We have to have 3 other faces enjoy that first place for a moment out here. We've had 2 cautions thus far for 23 laps under yellow. And let's go down to the pits and see what the story is on Darrell Waltrip.
Well, Waltrip's getting ready to go back out. He has. He didn't take on any tires. It looked like they put in fuel. They changed the chassis on the car a little bit, but I didn't see him put any tires on the car.
So Waltrip comes in on a gamble here with 115 complete. He'll come in, what, 1 more time, and at that time for sure he'll go for right side rubber. But at 115 laps, it was in the 114th lap that he pulled the car number 47, the Mountain Dew car, on pit road. 169 miles into the race, he elected not to go with a change of tires, Bill Cannell.
I'm wondering if the scoreboard is right. 115 laps gone, Gant in the lead, and we're showing Earnhardt in 3rd with Waltrip in the 4th spot, and then Allison 5th.
110 lap average is 120.121 miles per hour. 120, Gant first, Shepherd second, Dale Earnhardt, the Wrangler crew, in 3rd, and at 110, Waltrip had been running in 4th with Allison 5th, Ellis 6th, Parsons 7th, Rogers 8th, Ard 9th, Porter 10th, Bodine 11th, Glenn Jarrett 12th, Connie Saylor maintaining 13th.
Harry Gant is running way upstairs in the 3rd and 4th corner. Hal Hemrick, wonder what the problem is with Gant. He's right up next to that wall as he comes down that back straightaway.
It seems that he wants to run there from time to time, Bill, and that car is just working so well for Harry Gant. He can run anywhere he wants to. We saw a while ago when he was challenging the leaders, he went down to the inside. When he couldn't get around there, he went to the high side. So that car is working any place he wants it. He passed Bobby Allison a minute ago on the high side, so I don't believe there's any problem for him.
One of the interesting cars out here, Sammy Ard of Asheboro, North Carolina, the Thomas Brothers Country Ham Oldsmobile. He's currently leading the National Budweiser Late Model NASCAR Sportsman standings, and he's also in the Winston Racing Series in the Mid-Atlantic, where he's number 1. Currently overall in the nation sportsman running, Jack Ingram is number 2. He's been having big problems today. He's going to lose that 2nd spot after his effort that's put him laps down. Tommy Houston shown as 3rd, and the guy who can really move up is Phil Parsons, who's having a dandy day at the present time. Phil Parsons being shown 7th. He has gone a lap down to the 5 cars in the lead lap with 117 complete.
Kind of like a dream for Phil Parsons come true, that's for sure. Morgan Shepherd has had the lead 3 times for 22 laps. Dale Earnhardt once for 35 laps. Harry Gant 3 times for 48 tours around the 1.5 miles here at Charlotte.
This is where one might wish for a visit by the well-known French racing enthusiast Pierre Debris. If we could have Mr. Debris come out here on the track for a moment, we could get this field back up and hopefully have a lot more wheel-to-wheel racing. But after this green flag pit stop period, coming at the 110th lap. There begins to show interval all the way around the speedway. 77 on this mile-and-a-half track. The Skull Bandit of Harry Gant hangs on. He certainly has the horsepower. He's proven it when he came from 5 seconds behind. The man on the move for me at the moment is car number 25, Bobby Allison. Allison is drawing a bead on the Wrangler car of Dale Earnhardt as they go out of turn number 2. The Allison car is beginning to show a little muscle out there. That Pontiac, a red car, yellow numerals, goes after the yellow and blue colors, the familiar Wrangler colors, as they go to turn 3 to Hal Hamrick.
And he's trying to move closer and closer to that Wrangler machine. However, we're sure that Earnhardt has his eye on that rearview mirror and knows that Allison's back there. And every time he gets a little bit closer, he moves it out. Of course, he's trying to catch that Harry Gant machine.
Meanwhile, Morgan Shepherd's car runs just in front of him as he hammers away up in turn number 3.
The scoreboard seems to be showing Bobby Allison a lap down with Waltrip a lap down, so we look at the front three in the lead lap, Gant, Shepherd, and Earnhardt. But Allison could get back, and with a caution, be a whole new...
Your attention, please. Darlene Dixon. Darlene Dixon, call 238. Correction, Darlene Dixon, call 248.
I'm talking about Goody's headache powders. With all the headaches you run into in my business, I've had a chance to put Goody's to the test, and they work.
Car number 32, the Dale Jarrett machine, pulls it down pit road and back into action. That blue and white number 32, along with the Iron Man Jack Ingram, he too back into action, Jerry Punch.
Well, here the scoreboard shows three cars in the lead lap. Harry Gant, your leader, running second. Morgan Shepherd showing in third spot. It'll be Dale Earnhardt. And fourth and fifth being shown 1 lap in arrears is the car number 25 of Bobby Allison and the 47 of Darrell Waltrip. Gant, your leader.
All that is George Dalton of Waxhaw. Pits down pit road in the Gant Racing Chevrolet. Down in the stall far to your right. Notice he's minus the deck lid as a result of the earlier encounter we had here over in turn 4. But to his credit, he's out and running, which is more than some of those gentlemen were able to do who were involved in that fracas over in that turn 4 location. 3 cars, 3 automobiles still in the lead lap at 122 laps down in this 200-lap event. The prelude to tomorrow's great World 600 going at 12:30 p.m.
A 6-second separation between the leader, Harry Gant, and second place running Morgan Shepherd. Of course, Morgan Shepherd, the defending champion here for the Mello Yello 300, as he drives the Mello Yello Levi Garrett Pontiac. And Harry Gant showing the way. Gant having early trouble with the shifter, had to reel back the leaders, run them down, and now leads here at Charlotte, showing 124 laps.
National scene in the coming issues and perhaps Grand National Illustrated.
Well, Grand National scene, as you know, we'll regularly cover the circuit. 30 races a year. Wherever the NASCAR Winston Cup drivers are, Grand National scene will be there to cover it. Right now, we're putting together the July issue, and I think we've got something they'll be interested in, which is a long, in-depth interview with Junior Johnson, where Junior goes back to the very beginning and tells it like it is, and we've got some great art in there, original portrait of Dale Earnhardt, which a lot of the fans, I think, will want to get, and a story that I have to take credit for on the Petty Women.
Okay, well, it's really great having you drop by our broadcast location, and, of course, we're looking for fair weather again tomorrow.
Thank you, Bill.
Press box interview with Bill Hennessy. Meanwhile, back here in the tower, we watch the 125th lap of this World 600 unreeled as we watch Harry Gant continue in that green and white Skull Bandit to show his colors. The question now is, if he can do it today, can he do it tomorrow? That's where it really counts. 1 year ago in the World 600, Harry Gant drove a fantastic race. It was a marvel, and he came home in second place. It was a great run. As you'll recall, a year ago, Bobby Allison put it together for his second win, 1971 and 1981. He was the gentleman that was able to grace this beautiful victory area here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Gant, well, they said he'd never win one. Then he surprised everyone and came through at Martinsville, Virginia this year. Now he has everybody here. His car owners are here, his sponsors are here, and the pressure seems to be on Gant, and he's certainly reacting to it magnificently thus far this afternoon as he's trying to draw away from the rest of the field currently running in first place, with Morgan Shepherd being shown in second, and the battle about to be enjoined with Dale Earnhardt.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is really going to be in, and no doubt, Dale said last night, I was with him, when he said, I would love to win this one and then come back home and win the World 600. So we'll just have to wait and see what tomorrow is. And this afternoon, it's not over. We're 127 laps into it, and it's Gant, Shepherd, and Earnhardt. Riding fourth, a lap down, is Allison, and fifth, a lap down, is Tommy Ellis.
With Waltrip next, followed by Benny Parsons in 7th, Rogers in 8th, Ard in 9th, Mike Porter in 10th, Bodine 11th, Glenn Jarrett 12th, Connie Saylor 13th, Bosco Lowe 14th, then comes Pete Silva in 15th, and 16th, Larry Pearson. But right now, with 127 laps on the Charlotte scoreboard, it's still Harry Gant in the lead. This is the Performance Racing Network.
Well, 128 laps being shown at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Harry Gant leads the way with a 7-second separation over second place car Morgan Shepherd. Shepherd driving the Levi Garrett Mello Yello Pontiac here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Running third, the Wrangler Pontiac of Dale Earnhardt. Being shown in fourth place, 1 lap down, is Bobby Allison, while fifth spot reigning late model Sportsman national champion for the Winston Racing Series, Tommy Ellis.
And they're stretching it out a bit, Jerry. Down that back chute goes Harry Gant from Taylorsville, enjoying quite a nice lead, as you said, some 7+ seconds now over the second running automobile of Morgan Shepherd. That beautiful white and yellow number 7 as he's entering turn number 3. Then we look back, perhaps 50 yards farther back to the Dale Earnhardt car, and the Dooley Darter, as some folks call him, in that yellow and blue number 15 Wrangler Jeans car, pulls it off the banking of turn number 4 with his sights down this double dogleg front straightaway.
Again, gets very high in turns 1 and 2 as he's trying to get around Mike Porter. Porter doing the bob and weave in that car number 3. Is his car a little bit unstable in the turns. He's been having to wrestle with that car most of the afternoon to keep the car down off the banking, but Porter getting in front of Harry Gant momentarily down in turns 1 and 2. Gant shows the way out of turn 4. The Skull Bandit Pontiac leads here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
By 9 seconds now, Jerry Punch. A 9-second lead as that automobile is running away with things at this juncture. 131 laps deep into 200 laps of running in this 1982 Mello Yello 500.
Morgan Shepherd momentarily caught in some traffic up in the south end of the speedway on the south banking, and turns 1 and 2. Shepherd trying to get around some of the slower cars, some of the lap cars, and he's trying to set his sights on Harry Gant.
131 laps into this event. Shepherd has got Earnhardt coming hard in turn 3. And he gets around Pete Silva as they go to Hal Hamrick.
And there's still some traffic just in front of Dale Earnhardt, but they are moving down to the inside. Pete Silva still up in that groove, but Earnhardt comes wrecking to him, trying to catch up with that Morgan Shepherd machine.
Let's get a word from pit road.
Dale Jarrett, what's happened to the Pet Dairy Products Pontiac?
Well, Chuck, we had trouble at first of the race with the shifter. I couldn't get the clutch to release the whole way, so it was staying in gear. Whenever I'd come in, I was okay as long as I was in high gear running, but when I had to pit for gas, and then we tried to go back out, the car got hung in third. So they just ride around out there in third or park it to which side to park the car.
Well, they're under the car here on pit road. Is there any chance of you going back in?
No, there's something in the transmission that has caused it to walk up in third gear, and we're not going to try to tear into that today. We've already lost too many laps, so we'll just park it for today.
That's Dale Jarrett, driver of the Pet Dairy Products Pontiac.
Dale Jarrett currently 5th in the Budweiser late model national sportsman standings, and he will tumble there. Tommy Ellis still having a pretty good day. Bodine is still running well up in the standings. Mike Porter is 10th in the overall national standings for the Budweiser Series, and he is out here still clicking off the laps. They show 134 now complete, Bill Cannell. And the field, the attrition has been incredible out here, with 11 cars involved in that first very rough crash up in the turn 4 area of the track.
Watching the field as it winds around this 1.5 miles at Charlotte, Harry Gant, unless something goes wrong, unless he has problems with that automobile and we have a caution flag, is long out front. I mean, he is really just flawlessly riding the banking, which is some 3 stories high, 27 degrees, and into the double dogleg. He's coming by the stripe for the 136th tour of this 200-lap event to make the 300 miles for the Mello Yello 300.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniel.
Well, we continue to tick laps away into the record books, as right now it's all Harry Gant, and Harry Gant doing a number around this 1.5-mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. And, of course, he's picked up his first Grand National win this season up at Martinsville and would like to put another notch in his holster here at Charlotte today, and has things going his own way as he crosses the stripe, completing lap 136, Jerry.
Well, still quite a few laps to go here, Hugh, on this 200-lap Mello Yello 300. And, of course, Harry Gant hoping everything will go his way tomorrow as he starts fourth in the 23rd running of the World 600 and the 711 Skull Bandit Buick. But Gant right now having everything go his way as Travis Carter and the Skull crew are on pit road, watching Gant lap by lap as he leads the field. Gant definitely the class of the field here at Charlotte, but running second is Morgan Shepherd. And Morgan Shepherd is a two-time winner here at Charlotte Motor Speedway and the reigning champion from last year's Mello Yello 300.
I'm certain this next round of pit stops may tell the tale here this afternoon, but right now it would appear that the separation is very great, and the top three cars who remain in the lead lap would appear to have the best chance of a victory over the remainder of the field here. Remember, race time tomorrow for the World 600 at 12:30, so make your plans to attend. If you haven't made your reservations, please get your tickets before leaving the grounds here today. Also, today would be an excellent time to purchase your souvenir magazine for the World 600, because it'd be a good chance to read up on your heroes tomorrow, bring it back with you tomorrow, and get autographs of your favorite drivers after the conclusion of tomorrow's running of the World 600.
Fireworks seem to have been backwards for this race. We had all the pyrotechnics, the big cannonade in the very first lap. Flame erupting, belching fire and smoke, cars spinning and crashing. And now we're down to the set pieces, and they're all setting at various points around the track, and folks are kind of sitting back 62,000 strong to see what's going to come together here. We've only had two cautions. They were very lengthy ones. They came early on. The initial caution for that big 11-car crash in turn number 4, then Joe Ruttman blew an engine. Since then, it has been caution-free. So we may end up with the fewest cautions in the history of this Mello Yello 300, but they were lengthy enough to hold down the average speed. Now, the average speed now is fluctuating around 124 or 125 miles per hour. The overall record for this race is 131 miles per hour. Well, what about it, Bill Canal? Have you ever seen one go quite like this, where it seems you always wait in these races at Charlotte for the big action in the last 10 laps, and here it's been the opposite?
Well, you're exactly right. The action came early in the event. Let's see what the last story will tell today later when we get into those last 10 laps. Right now, our roving reporter, Slick Johnson, is down in the VIP suites. Let's check in with him.
Hello there, Bill. I'm with the President, Chief Operating Officer of R.J. Reynolds, Mr. Jerry Long. Jerry, welcome to your new suite here at Charlotte.
Well, thanks an awful lot, Slick. We're delighted to be here. It's a great event. As usual, when I've had a chance to be involved in the race, we happen to turn on the weather and get it going real well, and the sun come out after a week of rain, and we're delighted about that. And we understand there's over 60,000 people here this afternoon for the Mello Yello 300, and that's really a great attendance.
We've really got a good crowd, and like you said, the weather did give us a break. It's sure good to see the Winston Cup Series signs up around this beautiful track, and on behalf of PRN and Charlotte Motor Speedway, we do and graciously welcome you and your staff here this year.
Well, thanks an awful lot. As you know, Slick, this is Reynolds' 12th year of sponsorship of the Winston Cup Series for our Winston cigarettes, and we're delighted to be involved more than greater than ever. As you know, our payoffs to all the teams and the drivers is greater this year than it has ever been before, and we think that this is helping the attendance, and of course, we're continuing to promote the races as we have here at Charlotte pretty heavily, and we understand that the attendance records for almost every race this year continues to get better, and this shows the great attendance and the interest on the part of the fans is just getting better and better every year.
I'll tell you what, it sure looks good to look out here, and we'll go back up at the booth to Ken now, and thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks an awful lot, Slick.
Back to you, Ken.
143 laps, 213 and a half miles are now down in this Mello Yello 300. Some of the Grand National cars are getting ready for a final practice late in the day for tomorrow's World 600. The story here is car number 77, Harry Gant. Can he hold on to win this event for the first time in a car which goes back a lot of years? It's not quite as old as Harry, but it's one he built in his own garage, and he's tinkering with. He's had some short track experience with it, slicked up the fenders, moved back the bumper, and brought it out for super speedway competition, and brought with it an engine which has been remarkable. No one has come in shouting distance of him as he gets by J.D. McDuffie another time, crossing the start-finish line with a handsome lead over the second-place runner, Morgan Shepherd. Shepherd, that beautiful car, the Levi Garrett machine, is in second place. That, too, is a home-built automobile that is not part of the regular Levi Garrett club, but it does carry their livery as it runs down into turn number 1. The third-place car is still the Wrangler, car number 15, Dale Earnhardt holding on, hoping that something goes amiss up in front and give him another shot at those people. Earnhardt has come close here so many times in the past racing and the sportsman category, but he has yet to put together a checkered flag lap. And then comes number 25, Allison, being shown one lap down, Bobby Allison, but there's still a distance to go. He could well pull this one out. We've seen attrition on this track, and with the high humidity, the weather is definitely working against both car and driver out here today. Of that, there is no question. And tomorrow in the 600, we're anticipating that if the weather stays as it is today, we're going to see a lot of substitutions before it's over. Drivers seeking relief, pulling in here, as we've seen in the past, totally exhausted, heading for the field hospital, looking for a little more potassium and salt to get themselves back together. But for the crowd, it's going to be a masterful day of automobile racing. The Giants are all here, and they have $500,000 to decide between them. And when those Giants get to cuffing it out for first place at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's one of the great events in American motorsports. That's on tomorrow's agenda here on this Memorial Day weekend. We hope you'll be with us. We're watching Joe Thurman's car number 5, a former national champion in sportsman racing for NASCAR, now pull on pit road. Thurman made a good shot of it early in the going. He's been falling back some, and the latest report has him in 17th position.
You know, let's think back to last October when we ran that 300-mile, an interesting point on Joe Ruttman's car. That is the car that won with Gary Ballou working the keyboard, and that's the same car that won up at Dover. We're having a car that's very loose coming off the apron over in turn number 4, got right down on the bottom of the racetrack, out of that 27-degree banking, trying to get it in onto pit row. One of the cars that was involved in that smashing crash up in turn number 4 at the beginning of this race, and he's very loose. So, but anyway, looking back when Gary Ballou, it was a physical race, Ken, between Earnhardt and some of the other drivers. Dale could not win that one. Ballou came on to victory. He crashed in the following day's 500-mile race, but Ruttman is out of it. He was driving the identical car that Ballou won in here in October.
We're checking the interval between first and second place, as Gant has had a very good pit stop. The Travis Carter people working for him today give him a 13.5-second advantage at 140 laps into the event, 221 of the 300 miles now being completed.
Tommy Houston has went in for Joe Thurman, and it hits right on where you were talking of a while ago, Ken, about heat and what it can do inside the cockpit to these drivers. They're administering some oxygen to Joe Thurman over on pit row right now. Tommy Houston has gone into the cockpit of that automobile.
So there's the first reserve driver that's been announced here today. Let's have a check with Chuck Young as to condition on those drivers he may have heard about along on pit road. Sometimes it gets so hot down here, Chuck, that the pit crews themselves begin to collapse toward the end of these events.
Well, some of his crew members look about the same shape as he is, but Joe has got the oxygen mask on now, so he cannot talk with him, but Tommy Houston has gone in the car for him, and Joe is okay. He's just getting a little oxygen, a little bit of cold rags on his head. The heat is really bad out there. It's real bad down here on pit road. We'll get a word with Joe in a moment, but of course, as we mentioned, Tommy Houston now driving Joe Thurman's car, and as you were mentioning, Ken Squire, this could be what's going to be happening tomorrow when they try to go double the distance, 600 miles.
Well, he'll overturn the number 77 car. Is Harry Gant. He's just about got it his own way in this race out here. So we may get down to a race between Morgan Shepherd and Dale Earnhardt for the second and third spot here this afternoon.
Well, they remain closer together than, of course, the lead car, although there is separation there of some half a turn, as right now midway through turns 3 and 4 was the car of Morgan Shepherd, and now he's off of 4, and closing in on him at the head of pit road is the Dale Earnhardt number 15. So there must be about a 75-yard separation between second and third. However, they are closer to one another than they are to Harry Gant, who's coming off of turn 4 right now.
Bobby Allison, of course, running in 4th spot, and running in 5th spot, Tommy Ellis, but the 4th and 5th spot are a lap down right now in this race, as the heat begins to tell just a little bit on these drivers, and they are pulling in for oxygen pit stops along with fuel and tires here in this Mello Yello 300 this afternoon on this blazing hot afternoon. And it's ironic that it should be this way today because all week long we've had nothing but shady skies and a whole lot of rain out here. And of course we welcome the sunshine back so we can get this race in and have a great afternoon of racing, but it sure is different than what we've had all week long, Hill.
Well, it is that, and I think the humidity is the problem more than the actual raw temperature, and I'm sure a lot of these contestants, as well as some of us who are in the media, are real happy that the folks from Pet Dairy Products are out here now, and that good Pet ice cream is mighty fine on a day like today. I've already sampled some down in the press box, and sure the fans around in the stands would like to do the same. They're pushing, in fact, as we speak, the number 32 machine, the Pet Ice Cream sponsored car of Dale Jarrett from Conover, back into the garage area, Dan Lucas, so it looks like that is probably all for that car today.
Sammy Ard, after turning some erratic laps of recent with a 00 car, running 9th position, is just pitted and taken on right side rubber. 155 laps have been completed. Chuck Young, what's the story down on pit road? When do they expect these cars to be making their final pit stop?
By right now and making our last checks with the crews as they are working their sheets right now. Of course, all the people keep laps and they tabulate how many gallons of gas the cars use. We're getting ready to talk to a couple of the crews and find out when their next stops will be. Right now, all the crews are trying to make a little bit of cool air and get up under the umbrellas because it is burning hot down here on pit road. We'll be back in a moment with this report.
The man with the best seat in the house is Hal Hammer down in turn number 4 where all the action has been today. Hal, what's happening now?
We noticed in the last few laps that Morgan Shepherd has had Mike Porter to tag onto him. Of course, this extra draft has helped him some as he's pulled away a little bit from that Dale Earnhardt car, and he's sort of latched onto that number 2 spot a little more securely. So sometimes you can get a boost from another car. The man, of course, that's absolutely amazing is watching this car number 77 of Harry Gant. He works any place he wants to through these turns, high, low, wherever, and he is really pulling on the call. He seems to not know that he's about 14 seconds ahead of the second place.
Well, when it's running right, you might as well run with it. That seems to be the philosophy of Harry Gant, who stays up on the point, now averaging 127.800 miles per hour with 50 laps remaining in the event. A good crack at breaking the record for this race of 131.243 miles per hour. Gant first, Shepherd second. And then it's Dale Earnhardt third, Allison fourth, Ellis is fifth, Waltrip sixth. Phil Parsons is reported in 7th position, as he was in the last rundown. Rogers is maintaining, well, Rogers has dropped some. Mike Porter has picked up 2 positions. Mike Porter has moved up into the 8th position from 10th. Then comes Glenn Jarrett 9th, Rogers dropping back to 10th. Ard is in 11th position. He's dropped back 2 spots. In the 12th position is Jeff Bodine in 99 as he was. And then in the 13th position is Connie Saylor. Remaining in 14th position is Bosco Lowe. Silva is 15th. And Larry Pearson stays 16th. So with the exception of 2 switches of positions out here, Rogers dropping 2 and Ard dropping a couple on that pit stop, it stays pretty much the same.
Well, we've got 160 laps on the board here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and a gentleman that is really responsible for the past 20 days that a lot of us have been here at Charlotte Motor Speedway is with Slick Johnson down in the VIP suite.
Stand right there and watch it. Thank you, Bill. You're really giving me a good job, easy job here. I've got the big boss here. I'm a little static. Let me get back with you.
Okay, we'll go back down to the suites, and Slick Johnson, who had Bruton Smith standing by with him. Bosco Lowe is in. This should be his final pit stop. He's on pit row, and the amazing thing about Bosco Lowe, Ken, is he doesn't really like to run super speedways. He's an ace on the short track, a regular up at Asheville-Weaverville Speedway in Hickory, but he doesn't like the big speedways. He does it and he made his first World 600 field. He will start tomorrow for the $500,000.
Bosco Lowe in car number 27, a blue and white automobile being rolled to a start. Looks like he may be having some transmission problem as they gather that car up and send it back on its way. Let's try to go back down, and Bruton and Slick standing by the VIP suite.
All right, I can hear you now. I'm with Bruton. Bruton, what do you think about what's going on today?
I'm loving every minute of it. I just love it. It's a fantastic crowd, and all of these celebrities running around here. It's just beautiful, Slick. I just enjoy it very much.
Sorry that Telly Savalas left, but we had him at the ball last night, didn't we?
Excuse me, gentlemen, we got trouble. Excuse me, gentlemen, we got trouble on the front straightaway. Phil Parsons has hit the wall up in turn number 4. Al Hemrick, did you see him when he got into the wall?
No, I did not. There was another car coming around, and suddenly Phil dashed into the infield. Evidently, he got into the wall enough to get the seat metal into the side of the tire, and he couldn't turn the wheel anyway except to the left, so he couldn't make this trioval or the bend in the front of the track, so he went down onto the grass area, and he's parked out there now.
Caution is out for the 3rd time. This will gather up the field. Just as Jarrett in number 24, Glenn Jarrett, brought that Budweiser Light Ford in, this Skoll car let loose Parsons, and he has taken the paint off the right side of the automobile, and he is now resting 400 feet to the right, down toward turn 1 from the start-finish line, in the grass, almost on pit road. The car just sitting there now with the tires somewhat akimbo, and the caution flag is out for the 3rd time today. So that effort toward a track record may all go by the wayside here, as we have caution once again for Phil Parsons, who had himself a pretty good afternoon until this particular moment.
He tapped it just coming out of turn number 4. It looked like, you know, so many drivers run right up against the wall when they come out of that 4th corner into this double dogleg in the trioval. We didn't mean to interrupt Slick Johnson and Bruton Smith, so let's go back to them quickly in the VIP suite.
Down across the banking of turn 4, and the field heading out of turn 4. Harold Kinder will unfurl the green flag. Here they come and digging out of turn 4 as Harry Gant leads the way, and Mike Porter pushes him down the straightaway.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to leave you guys because I tell Mr. Lou Bandler from Skoll U.S. Tobacco and I are going to go down to Victory Circle, and we're going to, I told Gant, if he doesn't win today, he can't win both of them, so it's automatic.
Thank you, Hal, for dropping by. Ken Squire. This is not the time to count your chews or your dips here before it's over. It's 160 laps, and they have now completed 166 laps.
Whoa, trouble! Car in the wall. Car number 1 looks like Pete Silva. He gathered it back up off the wall. Hal Hemrick, did you see Silva get high? Well, there's problems with Hal Hemrick up in turn number 4. Ken, he really wrapped that wall, but he gathered it back out of the marbles, and he's racing with them back in turn 1.
So Silva stays on the track and continues to run. Meanwhile, 167 laps have rolled in, and 33 laps are left to race out here this afternoon. Here are the way they stand. 77, Gant has the advantage as we shake it down to the very finish of this event. He's trying to draw away from the field. Dale Earnhardt stays in 2nd place, and riding in 3rd, that is the Morgan Shepherd automobile, the winner a year ago and twice winner of this event. Then in the 4th position, car number 25, Bobby Allison, still shown a lap down. Here's Gant running up beside Jack Ingram, who's running several laps off the pace. Darrell Waltrip has corrected his mistake himself, they say, and there was no penalty on Waltrip, but Pearson was penalized on that business with the flag and the pace car under this last caution period.
Sunday, July 4th.
There goes the leader, the Skoll Bandit across the finish line, and the Wrangler car and the Levi Jarrett car just neck and neck right behind him. Jerry?
169 laps being shown, Dan, and of course Harry Gant shows the way. Jack Ingram, who is laps in arrears, doing an early unscheduled pit stop, running behind Harry Gant, and Ingram's car running very, very well. That's the Oak Stove Pontiac of the 2-time late model Sportsman national champion Jack Ingram. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd hook up in a 2-car draft and try to reel in the leader, Harry Gant. Gant across the stripe and the start-finish line. And here are Earnhardt and Shepherd, followed about 7 or 8 car lengths back by the 4th place car of Tommy Ellis and the 5th place car of Bobby Allison. Both Ellis and Allison 1 lap arrears to the leader.
Well, the number 1 car that touched the wall just a little bit ago, Pete Silva, appeared not to have any problems, but he came in for a very quick pit stop. Looked like he had just wanted some consultation with his crew down there. Came in, stopped for about 1 second, and he's back on the track again going down pit road. As the leaders continue around the track, coming on down, and across the start-finish line, Harry Gant and that Skull Bandit. It appeared on that last caution flag, Jerry, that they may bunch up just a little bit, and we may have something going here, but once the green went down again, the Skull Bandit was on his way.
Well, we're showing caution for the 4th time this afternoon here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Caution being shown for the 4th time of the afternoon here at Charlotte. We're showing 171 laps in the books of the 200, which comprise the Mello Yello 300, as Harold Kinder holds the yellow caution flag aloft, and the field comes by and passes in review.
Across the stripe, but the hard charge is the one being put on by Earnhardt. Ingram is just out front, even though there's a number of laps down. Mike Porter is there. Silva's car has got light damage. There's Tommy Ellis across the stripe. 172 laps are gone, Ken. And as we get into the final 25, 28 laps of this 300-mile journey, we could really see a shapely battle up front between the top 3.
The car that gave up the ghost in a wisp of smoke was Mike Riley of South Daytona Beach, Florida. The TGR Enterprises Pontiac has just gone back behind the wall.
We just got the word. Satch Worley is going down to get into Sam Ard's car. He had been driving really flawlessly at the beginning, but I believe the heat's been affecting him by the way it took him to get in a while ago. Ken Squires, let's see if we can go to Chuck Young on pit row.
Well, we've got 2 drivers trying to get in Sam Ard's car. Bill Parsons is here, and Satch Worley is here. Now, Sam is having a rough time getting out of the car. Now they've got him out of the car. Bill Parsons, who just popped the wall, and the Skull Bandit has climbed into the car. Sam has really give out as he passed by. He is okay. Just heat really pouring from the guy. He looks like he's, sweating pretty good out there, and it is, of course, a hot race this afternoon. As we get down within the last 30 laps, Bill Parsons now in the Thomas Brothers Country Ham car.
The car had been erratic, as it had been pointed out to you by Bill Cannell, over the past 25 laps. And now we do have a change of drivers on car 00, the Thomas Brothers Country Ham Oldsmobile, currently the #1 late model sportsman team in the country in the standings of NASCAR. The 170-lap rundown had an average speed of 126.883 miles.
His move on Harry Gant as the safety car is off the speedway down pit road. Here comes Harry Gant, your leader. Earnhardt goes up by Jack Ingram and sets his sights on Gant. We're under green at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
300 miles complete. Earnhardt begins to tuck in on the bumper of Harry Gant. Here's Morgan Shepherd, and ladies and gentlemen, talk about a shootout for 21 laps remaining. The front 3 are together in the lead lap, and now Earnhardt goes to the outside, trying to put a move on Gant down the back stretch. Here comes Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan Shepherd down on the inside. He's trying to move up. He's still in 3rd place, but it's Earnhardt in 2nd, and now it seems that car of Gant is working the way he wants it. He tries to pull away from them.
The race takes on new enthusiasm as they come down to 180 laps. Just 20 laps to go, and Earnhardt puts the bumper to Gant. He puts the bumper right up against Harry Gant, going to 1.
And Gant is being pushed around into that, breaking up into that 3-story high wall. They're in turn number 2, and 62,000 race fans are on their feet to watch Earnhardt try to slingshot his way by Gant. Can't do it, changes his mind, and Shepherd is pushing Earnhardt.
Shepherd right down on that inside. He's trying to move down, but now it's Harry Gant moving to the lower side of the track, holding off Earnhardt. Earnhardt once again trying to make that move. He's on that back bumper as they come out of the 4th turn.
The Skull Bandit in the lead just by less than a bumper, and it is still Earnhardt right on the rear bumper. J.D. McDuffie pits car number 70.
You could throw a blanket over the front 3, and back right behind them in 4th, 5th, and 6th position is another battle. Watching Earnhardt try to get round that lead car, the Skull Bandit of Harry Gant, down the back straightaway. Hal Needham has already gone to victory lane, but I don't think you can count your chickens before they really hatch. Down into turn number 3 by Hal Hamrick, Earnhardt and Shepherd are putting a blaze of battle with Harry Gant.
Those 3 cars tied together as they come out of the 4th turn, but Harry Gant still holding the lead.
17 laps to go this time by. Earnhardt goes to the inside. Earnhardt draws up and looks into the side of car number 77. Earnhardt is going for first place at turn 1.
He's got a nose out front of Gant. Gant drops to the high road around the bank. Here comes Shepherd. Looks like Gant is going to be out of the draft. He'll be drop kicked to 3rd. Shepherd will go to 2nd. Earnhardt is leading. Here comes Shepherd midway down the back chute.
Tommy Ellis might play a big part in that. He is a lap car, but he's right in that battle. It's still out in front. Earnhardt. Here comes Shepherd. Shepherd trying to take over 2nd place. He gets a nose out in front of Harry Gant for that 2nd place.
Remember now that Ellis is running 4th overall, and right behind him is Bobby Allison in 5th, Waltrip in 6th. Gant is falling back now behind Tommy Ellis, the 1981 late model sportsman champion, a lap down trying to make it up.
Earnhardt wanted to be stout this late in the race. 183 laps are gone. 200 laps makes the distance. It's Earnhardt leading. Shepard is second, and Gant has fallen way off the pace. They're headed for 3.
He is about 3 car lengths off of that lap right now, off that lead. Those 2 lead cars really battling for it up front. He's trying to get a little boost from that other car right behind him, and Harry Gant trying to hold on.
Back to the line they come. 185 complete this time. 15 to go. Here's Gant dropping down to the inside. Gant with the horsepower, but he didn't go all the way around on rubber. The other 2 took on 4 tires. He only took on 2. Gant overtakes Morgan Shepherd in turn 2. In the back straightaway, Harry Gant is going after Dale Earnhardt. He reels him in. He goes to the inside.
He's dead on that inside, side by side. On the high side is Earnhardt. Inside is Gant. Gant moves out in front of him. Gant out in front. Here comes Earnhardt battling back. Earnhardt drops to the inside. Morgan Shepherd trying to get down there too.
Talk about pyrotechnics. Here it comes. 14 laps to go, and the bumper is applied to the back end of number 77. Earnhardt drives into him again.
He pushes him into turn number 1. Gant is out front trying to get a separation. Can't do it. Here comes Morgan Shepherd, but he has got to fight off the legs of Tommy Ellis. Shepherd remains in third. Now Shepherd goes for second. It's a dead heat down that back straightaway.
Morgan Shepherd down to the inside, evidently getting a boost off of that other car. He moves into second place, dropping Earnhardt back to third. Harry Gant still holding on to that lead. And now Earnhardt having trouble out of that Tommy Ellis car.
Meanwhile, Darrell Waltrip gets around Bobby Allison, and he goes into 5th position. It is Waltrip pulling up, but here comes Allison back, and he goes underneath the car of Darrell Waltrip, and Bobby Allison is back in 4th, and it is Waltrip falling to 5th. In the high side of turn number 2, Waltrip rolls back around Allison. A great battle for the lead, a tremendous battle for 4th.
Earnhardt, of course, got a boost by Allison coming around there. He moved back into that spot just in front, but Tommy Ellis is right behind the 2 lead cars. Harry Gant still leading him. Morgan Shepherd trying to get down on the inside now as they come out of the 4th turn.
Harry Gant trying to win this race for the first time. Morgan Shepherd for the 3rd time crossed the strike.
Tommy Ellis is pushing both Shepherd and Gant back into that number 1 corner. Here comes Earnhardt again, finding that little extra power here in the latter stages is why Allison and Waltrip are battling up in turn 2. Let's pick that lead battle up again. It is Gant, Shepherd, Ellis right on Shepherd's bumper, and here's Earnhardt.
Earnhardt trying to come up there strong now. Morgan Shepherd getting a little boost from that Tommy Ellis car. He's trying to unlap himself. Ellis is back in that 3rd slot, but of course coming up strong is the Earnhardt car.
The Bandit runs away from the posse. Here he comes. Harry Gant in front. Now Morgan Shepherd drops to the inside, going to turn number 1. They're wheel to wheel.
Shepherd's down on the bottom of the racetrack right next to the apron. Gant is up high in a 27-degree banking. It's a wheel-to-wheel race. Almost a dead heat out of that touchy number 2 corner. Down the 2,000-foot back straightaway. Shepherd had him by a nose. No, Gant comes back by a nose.
Ellis is in that battle, and he's helping one way or the other. Now it's a side-by-side battle between Morgan Shepherd and Harry Gant. They're side-by-side coming out of that 4th turn.
Coming back to the line. There will be 11 laps to go this time. It is Morgan Shepherd taking the lead. Shepherd goes out in front into lap cars, and Gant drives the Shepherd car right down onto a slower car, and he picks up some ground.
Earnhardt has gone back into second. Gant's pulling away by a car length, and it's still now Earnhardt second. Shepherd is third, and Shepherd had to almost thread that needle in this double dogleg going back into turn 1. The leaders are in 3.
The draft is making a big difference. Right now, Harry Gant has about a 2-car length lead over Dale Earnhardt, becoming back strong as Morgan Shepherd in that 3rd spot.
Out of turn number 4, Harry Gant. Will it hang together? Will it stay there? As they get down to the end, into the last 10 laps of this classic confrontation, looking like a half-mile break. Right now, it is Harry Gant after 190 laps with the lead. This is the Performance Racing Network.
10 laps to go. Harry Gant shows away here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a battle up front. Harry Gant, your leader. Dale Earnhardt runs second. Morgan Shepherd is third. A gaggle of cars out of turn 4. Here's Harry Gant, the Skoal Bandit Pontiac, down across the stripe. Gant leads away, but Dale Earnhardt trying to reel him in turn 1.
Where they're ripping and roaring over in the south end of the speedway here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's Gant going very high that time, closing up to 2-car lengths. Dale Earnhardt in that yellow and blue number 15 car. Morgan Shepherd 1.5 car lengths back, riding in 3rd. Tommy Ellis a lap down, riding in 4th position on the speedway. But right now in the high bank of 4 and closing ground is Dale Earnhardt on that high riding Harry Gant machine.
Earnhardt is downstairs on the inside of the racetrack in turn 4, trying to reel in Harry Gant, the Wrangler Pontiac, the yellow, blue numeral, car number 15 of Dale Earnhardt, trying to reel in the rear deck of the Skull Bandit Pontiac, and now Earnhardt is downstairs in turn 1. They may go door-to-door out of 2, but Gant flexes the muscle, pulls away from Earnhardt off of turn 2 down the backstretch.
Where he's showing his acceleration, he's out to a 2-car length lead down that back chute. Look at Morgan Shepherd now closing up space as he glues himself right to the rear bumper of that Dale Earnhardt car. They're single file in turn 4. Still Harry Gant, your leader.
5-car draft, single file, nose to tail, out of turn 4. Gant, your leader. Earnhardt rides second. Morgan Shepherd, Tommy Ellis, Darrell Waltrip. Those 5 cars riding nose to tail. And now Earnhardt again on the bottom of the racetrack in turn 1. Gant has the muscle up high and continues to lead here at Charlotte.
Earnhardt taking the short way around this 1.5-mile double dogleg oval here, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 1-car length separation going into turn 3. Harry Gant, Dale Earnhardt, a 1.5-car length lead over the Morgan Shepherd car as they're high, wide, and handsome single file fighting that turn 4 banking.
Harry Gant leads the way, but Morgan Shepherd sitting back there in third spot, content to watch the battle between Gant and Earnhardt. Remember, Morgan Shepherd, a 2-time winner here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and the reigning champion of this Mello Yello 300. 5 laps to go. Next time by will be 5 remaining as Gant shows the way in the Mello Yello 300.
Harry Gant showing 3-car lengths now as he's really bursting out, accelerating down that back chute into the 27-degree bank turn number 3, but staying there and maintaining the interval of 3 cars is Dale Earnhardt from Dooley, North Carolina. Morgan Shepherd, last year's defending Mello Yello 300 champion, would like to get up there where he can be in a better striking spot, but he remains 3 cars behind Dale Earnhardt as they cross the double dogleg and into turn 1, Jerry.
Well, we'll see who has the muscle. He'll overturn up in turns 1 and 2 as the laps continue to wind down. 5 laps to go. That time by as Harold Kinder signals the field with the open hand. 5 laps remaining here for the Mello Yello 300. And Harry Gant now a 6-car lead over Dale Earnhardt in turn 3.
Can they do it? Can Dale Earnhardt or Morgan Shepherd catch up to Harry Gant's number 77? That beautiful Skull Bandit car right now is showing its bumper to the field here by some 7-car lengths now as they take it to turn number 1, the south end of this beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway, and they now are going by slower traffic.
Off of turn 2, a gaggle of cars back 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th as they continue to jostle for position. They shuffle the deck over in turn 3, but Harry Gant is at the point of the field. Gant having everything his way here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Grand National practice immediately following the race. The Grand National cars will have their final practice session following the Mello Yello 300. Meanwhile, your leader continues to be Harry Gant, turn number 1. Harry Gant in the high groove up in turn number 1 now with about 10 cars over Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt, 1-car length separation in front of the Morgan Shepherd car. Down that back chute they go, headed into turn 3.
3 laps to go. The battle is now for 2nd spot between Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd. Slower traffic up in turn 3 and 4. That's the Bosco Roll car out on the inside of the racetrack. Here is Harry Gant across the stripe. Gant getting the signal, 2 to go. Dale Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd, and Tommy Ellis ride 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Handling ever so smoothly, taking that high groove where he's been so successful this afternoon. The Taylorsville Terra, hurrying Harry Gant, pulls it down off the banking of turn 2. He's midway down the back chute, moves out to a 15-car length advantage over Dale Earnhardt, and also Morgan Shepherd, who lurks right on the back bumper of the Dale Earnhardt car. Right now the battle would appear to be for 2nd spot, as we're going to have a close finish, it looks like, for that position, unless something breaks on Harry Gant's car.
Harry Gant, flat out, belly in the ground, takes the white flag here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Harry Gant, 1 lap to go. Dale Earnhardt and Morgan Shepherd battle back in the pack for 2nd spot. Earnhardt down on the bottom of the racetrack, and Shepherd 2-car lengths back. Tommy Ellis another 3-car lengths back from Shepherd. They're in turn 3. Harry Gant, your leader.
It's now or never for Morgan Shepherd. Morgan Shepherd moves right up on the back bumper. Now Dale Earnhardt over in turn 3. Meanwhile, Harry Gant off the 4th turn. Looks like he'll be looking at checkered flag and the win this time by with his hand out the window. Morgan Shepherd now moving up on the back bumper and trying to get around, but can't find enough acceleration. So Dale Earnhardt takes 2nd. Morgan Shepherd takes 3rd, but your winner, as we said, Harry Gant, from Taylorsville, North Carolina, has acquired the win here in the Mello Yello 300. And Dan Lucas, quite a show it was.
You bet. And Hal Needham is here in person, and I'll bet you he's just absolutely delighted to see that car right up there in front.
Well, we'd like to remind you over in the Grand National Garage area, Grand National drivers, gentlemen, your practice session will be coming up just momentarily here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And racing fans, the Grand National practice, their final practice session will be coming up momentarily here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the 5th annual running of the Mello Yello 300 is now history here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And Harry Gant, the pole sitter from Taylorsville, North Carolina, brings the Skull Bandit Pontiac to victory lane.
Let's hear it for Harry Gant, ladies and gentlemen, as he motors that number 77 Skull Bandit car, that green and white car, down to pit road, and he'll take that left turn, not to the garage area as so many have, but to victory lane, where he'll get all the accolades and the spoils to the victor.
Your attention, please. John Gardner, please call extension 238. John Gardner, please call extension 238. Harry Gant, victorious here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, finishing second, Dale Earnhardt, third, Morgan Shepherd, fourth will be the car number 12 of Tommy Ellis, and fifth, the car number 25 of Bobby Allison.
And those 4th and 5th place cars were 2 laps in arrears, the top 3 cars finishing in the lead lap. And let's go down now to victory lane, where we'll hear from your winner in just a moment. Of course, that would be Harry Gant.
The World 600. Gant's number 77, the Skull Bandit, rising right up into victory lane. And Harry Gant, this wonderful race driver of this great Burt Reynolds, Hal Needham team. Lou Bandel, the chairman of the board of the U.S. Tobacco Company, down there with him. And they have to be elated. A marvelous victory for this organization, and they really had to dice it out at the end as the Wrangler car, Dale Earnhardt, and the Levi Garrett car, driven by Morgan Shepherd.
For the Rampart we